At the Rubito family estate, Lady Wenny sat in her chair, complaining loudly that Art was late and demanding to know why slaying a dragon took him so long. She pouted, saying her appetite for the dragon meat was already ruined. Art stood trembling, apologizing to her over and over. When he stormed to her father, the family patriarch, complaining about Art, the patriarch asked what was wrong. Elsewhere, a voice mocked Art for failing in his duties once again, and he flinched at the words. The patriarch screamed that Art was a useless imbecile who had failed to meet his expectations as the family's trusted butler. Art quietly told himself he was worthless and that his life had no meaning. Despite the abuse, Art kept agreeing to fetch whatever Wenty demanded, promising to get it right away. When he called out to him in confusion as Art collapsed to the floor with a heavy thud, flashbacks revealed his past, taken in as a baby by the Robito family, raised to serve as their butler. He and Wenny were close as children, but her temper grew worse over time and her demands never stopped. Day after day, Art fought monsters and pushed his body past its limits until he stopped thinking altogether, moving only on instinct. Eventually the family cast him out, calling him useless and replaceable, throwing him beyond the estate gates alone in the snowy woods. Art wondered what he should do now. A sudden struggle broke out in the wilderness, chaotic and violent. Art lay collapsed in the snow, badly wounded, water spilling from a broken flask beside him. Through his fading thoughts, he remembered only wanting to make his lady smile. Even as a beast growl echoed nearby, a wolf emerged from the trees, baring its fangs as it stalked toward him. The wolf lunged and Art fought back, striking it down. He apologized quietly to the fallen animal as small creatures yapped nearby. More wolves surrounded him, growling, but Art held his ground until the danger passed, relieved that he had survived. He rebuilt his strength in the wilderness, hunting and studying plants, deciding to head west to join a guild and start earning money. His journey led him into the city of Firn, where a new chapter of his life was about to begin. At the Guild of Firn, adventurers gathered under the chandeliers, trading gossip and sizing up new arrivals as Art stepped inside. A board displayed countless extermination requests. Art hesitated, thinking that for someone raised as a butler, the most fitting job would be something else entirely. He suddenly slammed his hand on a request and declared he would take the Icefield family's laundry job. The other adventurers scoffed, warning him countless others had already failed it. A young receptionist explained that no one had ever succeeded at that particular request, since it wasn't just any ordinary laundry. Colorful memory flashed of Art facing a striking figure marked by monstrous, mottled colors across her form. Whispers spread through the guild that the client was Icefield, known as the Ice Princess, both a noble and a feared adventurer. Art stared at her in nervous silence as onlookers murmured, watching her cold expression. Isfiel arrived with sacks of hunted boars, delivering quest items, while a young elf girl greeted her warmly, calling her San. The elf girl pointed out that Art was standing right behind her, prompting Icefield to turn and notice him for the first time. She asked who he was, and he stiffly held up his request card, explaining he'd come for her family's laundry request. Introducing himself as Art, he vowed to serve her with complete dedication, using the exact phrasing he once used as a butler. Realizing his mistake, he mentally panicked over slipping into old habits, while Isfiel stared at him blankly. A quiet, tense moment passed between them as she studied him closely, bloodstains marking her clothing. She warned him that cleaning even one piece of clothing took an entire day, since monster blood didn't wash out easily, and asked if he still wanted to try. He confirmed he did, and when she asked how long he would need, he answered confidently that 1 hour would be enough, stunning her. The scene shifted to the grand Isfiel family estate with its fountains and gardens, as Art and Isfiel walked its grounds together. At the gates, staff praised Isfiel's efforts as usual. She excused herself to change, leaving Art in the care of the head butler, Tet, who led him toward the laundry. Along the way, Tet explained that the Icefield family was a noble house holding the rank of Marquis, and that Icefield had become an adventurer to prove her worth per family tradition. Art quietly remarked what a harsh way that was to grow up. At the laundry area, another butler asked if this was truly all the clothing, warning that just one article normally took 3 people a full day, since monster blood ruined fabric permanently after 3 days. Art confirmed he was ready and assured them there would be no problem. Isfiel watched him with a calculating, skeptical expression, unconvinced that anyone could really handle what had defeated so many before him. Art insisted there was nothing wrong, flustered as Isfiel asked if she had blood on her face, while the head butler watched with a tired expression. Isfiel murmured that Art was a strange one, wishing him good luck as she left him to face the laundry alone. Riding away with her staff, she reflected to herself that he was nothing like Lady Wenty had ever been. Left alone by the wash basin, Art rolled up his sleeves and told himself to leave it all to him. The household watched from a distance, debating whether they should step in and help. Wondering if he could really manage alone, bright light and energy burst from the basin as Art worked, startling the staff, who wondered aloud if what they were witnessing was actual magic. Isfeel stared in amazement, having never seen this kind of magic before. Art explained it was his own original creation, a domestic magic built specifically for chores. Bubbles filled the air as his spell worked through the pile of laundry, the household looking on in stunned silence. One of them whispered that the result was beautiful, admiring the sparkling clean fabric taking shape. The finished laundry hung fresh and pristine, drawing gasps that the blood-soaked garments looked brand new, and even smelled wonderful. The head butler demanded to know how he had done it. Art explained his method, comparing it to how slimes absorb and digest anything they touch, describing how he crafted a digestion spell using detergent in place of digestive fluid. The butler admitted it was ingenious, calling it remarkably logical. Isfeel called his name, and he answered nervously, her expression unreadable as she studied him. The staff apologized for ever doubting him, while Isfeel bowed her head and thanked him sincerely for proving them wrong. She admired how easily he'd solved a problem that had exhausted everyone else on her laundry for so long, and asked if she could speak with him about something important. She then formally declared it an order, catching herself before rephrasing it as a request, and asked hesitantly if she could call on him again in the future. Art knelt before her, vowing he would do as she commanded. She flinched at her own words, admitting her body always reacted to giving orders out of habit, then took his hand and told him she didn't know what kind of life he had lived until now. She clarified plainly that what she was offering him now was a request, not a command. Art repeated the word to himself, moved by how different it sounded, while Isfeel admitted that in the past she had never had a choice, always given orders constantly by Lady Wenty and forced into that role. She told him firmly that a request was different from an order, and that she had the right to decide things for herself, smiling gently as she said it. Art vowed that from now on he was living his own life, promising Isfeel that if it was her request, he would gladly take it on, calling their meeting a fated encounter that would change the world. The next morning at the Isfeel estate, Isfeel greeted him warmly as he opened his eyes, unsure at first of where he was. Confused and disoriented, Art blinked awake in unfamiliar surroundings, wondering what was happening. He bolted upright in a lavish bed, panicking and shouting in confusion, while two servants outside the room whispered to each other. Struggling to recall the previous night, he wondered aloud why he was in bed at all, spotting unfamiliar furniture and a grand chandelier that only deepened his confusion. Isfeel asked if he remembered what happened, and he realized in shock that he was in her room. She explained that he had exhausted himself doing so much laundry at once and collapsed afterward. Art admitted he had pushed himself too far using his magic and couldn't believe he had done so. Isfeel remarked that he still looked pale and told him not to lie about it, mentioning that Tet had prepared his reward, an overflowing treasure chest that left him stunned by its generosity. She explained that servant clothing wasn't suitable for him anymore, since she intended to keep him in her employ permanently, gifting him a fine new outfit that impressed even him. When he playfully teased her using formal titles, she winced and told him to cut the formalities altogether, since they were the same age. Walking together through the mansion, staff whispered curiously about why she was acting so kind, remarking that everyone had heard rumors in the guild about her being the feared ice princess. One servant noted that, as head of the family, Isfeel typically couldn't stand being around commoners, since many nobles held disdain for people of that class. Yet here she seemed to see things from the same perspective as the servants themselves, someone else adding that she was truly kind with a lovely heart to match. At breakfast, Isfeel's father, house head, Ramon Isfee, greeted Art warmly, introducing himself and mentioning he was already aware of Art's story from the day before. Ramon admitted he hadn't been sleeping well in the house's beds lately, missing the comfort of the imperial beds he once knew, worrying it might soon require a doctor's attention. Art excitedly offered to make him a proper bed himself, though everyone was skeptical, since a true royal quality bed normally took a skilled craftsman years to complete. When Ramon jokingly offered 10,000 gold as a reward for such a feat, Art was stunned, and Isfeel urged her father to accept his help as a request rather than an order. The two set off toward Dorado Forest to gather materials, specifically the feathers of a rare black bird known for their durability and use in high-quality adventurer gear. Isfeel warned him the blackbird was a formidable B-rank monster, difficult even for skilled fighters to defeat, but Art declared he would handle it himself for the people who depended on him. Just as she sensed something strange in the air, wondering why the monster would be nearby at that hour, a monstrous roar suddenly tore through the forest. The great blackbird, A rank B monster dove from above, and Urk shouted a warning before Art told her to get down, insisting he would handle it himself. The beast's massive claws lunged toward Urk, and Art moved to intercept, catching her off guard as the bird screeched inches away. Steel met feather in a burst of light as Art's blade struck true against the monster's advancing form. The creature spat acid, and Art realized in horror that it couldn't be allowed to touch Urk, so he enchanted his blade with paralysis magic and cut through the attack before it could land. The acid sizzled harmlessly against his enchanted strike as he pressed forward, protecting her from the corrosive assault. He exhaled sharply, gathering his focus as his blade cut a glowing arc through the air. The bird shrieked as the finishing blow connected, its body reeling from the impact. Its wings went limp mid-flight, the great black bird finally falling from the sky. With a final decisive strike, Art brought the beast down. While Urk stared on in stunned silence, she asked breathlessly what sword technique that even was, admitting she hadn't even seen the blade connect, then called out to check that he was okay. Urk marveled that hardly anyone could pull off something like that, but Art brushed it off casually, explaining he'd simply used his paralysis magic enchantment, leaving her stunned that he could use such magic at all. As they moved to collect the feathers, Urk suddenly winced and pulled away, and Art asked in concern what was wrong. She admitted quietly that she always ended up covered in blood after these encounters, embarrassed and asking him not to mention it to anyone. Back at the estate, Ramon doubted skeptically whether such hard, filthy black feathers could really make a proper bed, but Art assured him to just leave it to him. With focused effort, Art began weaving his magic into the feathers, transforming the rough material before everyone's eyes. Art explained that blackbird feathers were naturally soft and white in early life but turned hard and black over years of dirt, and that he had studied them extensively after former employers once wanted to eat one. Delighting Urk with his surprising knowledge, that night, Ramon settled into the finished bed and let out a happy sigh of relief, marveling at how comfortable it felt, while everyone watched anxiously for his reaction. The household peeked in and found him already sleeping deeply and peacefully, moved to see him resting so soundly after so long. The maids eagerly begged for beds of their own, and Art happily offered to make one for everyone, though the head butler cautioned that his growing reputation might attract nobles seeking to exploit his talents. Art simply smiled and said he only wanted to see everyone's happy faces. Urk's cold eyes softened. Before the household, she declared she would protect Art's smile, leaving him startled while the steward looked on. Flustered, Art excused himself to his room. The steward watched quietly as Urk lingered, her expression unreadable behind him. As Art turned to leave, Urk caught his hand. She asked him to meet her on the terrace tonight, hinting at a secret waiting to unfold. Under the moon glow, Art walked onto the balcony. Urk waited in silence, turning only when she sensed his arrival. He nodded upon arriving, his expression composed, attentive, and ready to listen. Urk voiced her desire for a tranquil place to speak. Art accepted without hesitation. Side by side, they gazed toward faraway peaks, and he gently noted that Remen appeared to be resting peacefully that night. Urk gave a slight smile, recognizing his help. Art blushed in response. A quiet stillness formed between them before Urk paused, gathering her thoughts as their eyes locked meaningfully, unspoken feelings lingering. Urk gently questioned about Art's background, catching him off guard. He understood he had never shared. Observing silently, she assured him with quiet certainty that she would stay by his side regardless. Art gazed up at the moon and gave a slight smile. Her remarks meant additional than she understood. He started recounting his history, the Loop household, and hardships for approval. He confessed giving all things he had, yet dropping short of expectations. Taking blame, he felt it was his blame. Urk lowered her gaze, disturbed by the burden beyond his remarks and pain. Urk strongly told Art not to devalue himself, expressing sincere encouragement for him to be confident and real to himself, as Art reacted with visible surprise and emotional vulnerability. Art sensed overcome and wished to believe Urk's remarks. Urk revealed her discomfort with being called Ice Princess and shared how people often failed to understand her true nature. Urk recalled 10 years ago when she belonged to the top-ranked aristocrat house, but even with that status, she genuinely believed she could form friendships with anyone around her. In her recollection, youthful Urk once attempted approaching another noble girl, receiving praise initially, only to later discover she was merely seen as a tool to gain favor with royalty. Urk remained quietly by the balustrade, reflecting on her bitterness toward nobility and the burden of being born into it, while Art listened closely, quietly absorbing her vulnerable confession. Art felt not all aristocrats were heartless. Despite his painful banishment, He recognized kindness in people like Urk and Riemann, and in that quiet exchange, their connection subtly grew stronger. Art grinned at the sight of everyone's joy, which was constantly sufficient for him, while Urk acknowledged his selflessness and suggested they return indoors as the night air grew colder. The next dawn, Urk rushed to the Adventurers Guild, urging Art to eventually take a rest while nearby. Frustrated maids complained about the overwhelming bug infestation damaging their vegetables. Art suggested an answer by infusing soap with purifying and repellent magic, which effectively resolved the issue, earning cheers and gratitude from the maids, while he smiled with quiet relief. Aristocrat person reached. Frey Isfiel, Urk's older sibling, greeted warmly by the maids, while Art quietly observed Frey's charismatic demeanor as he responded to the welcome with charm and ease. Frey presented himself boldly and extended a warm hand to Art, who responded with a courteous bow, though a slight tension surfaced as they shook hands. Despite Frey's casual approach, Frey abruptly challenged Art to a duel, leaving Art confused. By the moment, the hold felt cold and something felt wrong, yet he agreed, sensing a strange shift in atmosphere. Frey gradually drew his blade with a bright gaze, masking a clear challenge beneath his smile, causing Art to stiffen as the air shifted from friendly to something tense and testing. Art remained steadily in the clearing as Frey ready for battle with a confident stance without delay or restraint. The intense duel between them commenced, driven by pride and determination. Frey rushed forward after stomping the earth, triggering frost under them, while Art observed carefully and moved swiftly, prepared to counter the incoming assault as the ground erupted with force. As Art twisted midair to evade Frey's mighty assault, breeze and dust burst outward, marking an intense clash of strength between a determined butler and an elite noble in combat. A burst of frost trailed Frey's strike, which Art gracefully deflected. Their duel intensified as both exchanged keen remarks, recognizing each other's speed and skill with growing respect and precision. Frey, impressed, escalated his efforts as Art intense sharply, both preparing for the next exchange. As strains stood and blades gleamed, they lunged with serious intent and unwavering determination. Their speed increased quickly. Frey struck in a blur as Art countered fluidly. Sparks flew and blades collided in a relentless rhythm, neither side backing down as pride fueled their every move. Art lunged forward, yet Frey met him lacking hesitation. Their impacts smashed the earth beneath them, and Frey, sweating, acknowledged Art's strength silently while clinging tightly to his determination. Frey's determination intensified with a vow rooted in responsibility. As the heir to Esfiel, every sword strike bore the burden of pride, responsibility, and the fear of disappointing his people. Panting heavily, Frey battled at his limit as Art welcomed the provocation. With mutual understanding, they hurled themselves into another intense clash, neither willing to surrender or fall behind. Frey unleashed a huge bloom of frost, its frozen petals forming mid-air. Art stayed alert and impressed, understanding the shift in tone as magic intensified and the duel grew truly serious. Within the fortress, Riemann felt Frey's sorcery and calmly analyzed the surrounding air. He noted the ice formation process, eyes narrowing as the atmosphere thickened with renewed tension. Encircled by smashed frost, Art remained unharmed. Both Frey and Riemann were surprised while Art explained his method, neutralizing the ice by triggering reactive magic upon impact to dissolve the immediate environment. Art recognized Frey's technique with genuine respect, as Frey reflected on his bond with Urk and the growing desire to guard her, striving to become somebody she could truly rely on. They rushed forward with weapons lifted high, each strike infused with emotion as Frey battled to honor his sister and become the dependable older sibling he always wanted to be. Art realized Frey's power during their fierce exchange, as Frey declared his true potential remained untapped. As magic flared, he prepared to unleash his full power in the escalating battle. Frey stepped a grave state, summoning an enormous wolf spirit that loomed fiercely behind him. The battlefield transformed, magic pressure intensified, and the atmosphere confirmed this was no longer a sparring match. Frey's strength resonated with ancient echoes of divine conflict. As he summoned a creature forged to provocation gods, he grounded himself strongly while the terrain quaked beneath their immense energy. The summoned wolf uncovered its fangs as Frey ready to strike with severe force as Art stood ready, his blade raised, mortal and divine wills clashing in a moment of unstoppable convergence. Art drew his sword with deep reverence, embodying a master's mindset, devoted to perfecting a single skill. Unfazed by the looming creature, he advanced steadily into the jaws of fate. As frost split under him, Frey unleashed his wolf spirit. Moments slowed as Art initiated one precise technique, his movement flawless, deliberate, and unstoppable in its execution against overwhelming force. Art's sword collided with the wolf's fangs, unleashing immense energy. In that instant, his technique transcended knowledge, slicing not the being itself, yet the fundamental rule governing nature's balance. With one swing, Art divided the earth. "Heaven sever," he murmured. Frey stared wide-eyed. Silence dropped. Power radiated from Art, composed and yet, as the breeze murmured approval. Art extended his hand softly towards Frey's chest, halting just before contact, a demonstration refined during his royal responsibility. Frey, heart pounding, acknowledged his defeat with an exhale of realization. Frey realized Art's restraint and compassion in the duel's end. A familiar knight's appearance and sudden laughter eased the strain, marking the instant their fierce battle became a shared memory. Frey remained tall, hand over his chest, formally presenting himself as vice-captain of the Royal Knights, and secretly, the next commander, an identity known solely to the monarch and his aristocrat house. Lady Wenty slammed her fork down in rage, scolding the shaking maids overcome by dissatisfaction since Art's departure. She dismissed 10 servants in frustration, yet none managed to meet her standards. Her father watched her outburst with exasperation as she stormed away, abandoning court responsibilities and retreating into history recollections, haunted by the sense that all things had changed after Art's absence. Clutching a dress handcrafted by Art, Wenty recalled how valued she once sensed. Her tone softened with longing as she silently waited, hoping for his return while emotions welled in her eyes. Frey came back with open arms, announcing himself loudly as Urk stayed unimpressed. Art stepped quietly behind him, and the servants hesitated, uncertain whether his theatrical entrance deserved applause or silence. Urk steadily recognized Art first, prompting Frey's exaggerated disappointment. Art mentioned completing his task, and the playful exchange among them delivered a glow familiar atmosphere to the once stiff courtyard. Art expressed thanks for the ready bed, and Urk recognized his compassion as part of their family. Frey, grinning, proposed another duel, to which Art reacted with surprised reluctance. Urk scowled suspiciously at Frey, who frantically denied wrongdoing as Art sighed. Observing the situation spiral, meanwhile Frey's reputation steadily deteriorated in front of all unfolding in genuine moment. The household watched with mixed reactions, some amused, others uncomfortable, as Grandpa silently encouraged an apology. Frey deflected, suddenly shifting the conversation to a more serious matter, causing the mood to shift. Frey addressed the household regarding the aristocrat council, strongly refusing to attend despite objections. He stayed resolute, declaring his personal priorities more important than the expectations placed upon him by the council. Urk startled all by agreeing to attend if Art accompanied her, leading Ted to confirm that Art, originally assigned as her escort, would now officially take Frey's location for the mission. Frey struggled with conflicting emotions as Art agreed his fresh role with a respectful bow. Urk grinned warmly as their journey began, united under House Iseal's banner and duty. As preparations began, a housemaid proposed a fresh dress for Urk, who reacted with embarrassment to a teasing comment about her growth, filling the room with light-hearted laughter and affectionate energy. The housemaid remarked on Urk's growth since Art's entry, causing Urk to flush and grow defensive. Privately, she examined her reflection, unsure about her emotions and what they genuinely meant. Art's tender reassurance stirred a thing in Urk, making her spirit race suddenly. Meanwhile, the maid noted the dress no longer fit, highlighting changes Urk was reluctant to acknowledge aloud. As maids shifted in with measuring tape, Urk panicked and resisted intensely. Viewing the instant as embarrassing, Art tried to soothe her while Reman, unbothered, returned focus to more serious matters. In the study, Riemann delivered grim news about the Black Vatter's recent assault, revealing a close town in ruins. He cautioned Frey that unchecked magic posed a threat greater than war. Raymond delivered up Art and questioned Frey's opinion of Pearl's former lord. Frey, after some considered, described him as honest, noticing a rare and genuine goodness in his character. Ted encouraged Frey to location his trust in Art. Though troubling rumors about Pearl's current ruler involved illicit trade and gambling, under the moon glow, a silent sense of unease began to grow. The carriage rolled across the woodland. Urk sat beside Art, quiet. Dressed lovely, Urk paused before speak, with a wistful smile. Art, she murmured, remembering a thing long buried. She talked gently about nobility, emotion like chains, casting a somber burden over the room as Art leaned in toward Urk, who responded with slight tension in her guarded voice. Art complimented Urk earnestly, comparing her beauty to a thing divine. Though she resisted his remarks outwardly, Her flushed cheeks and a silent flutter in her chest revealed unspoken emotions. Art bowed greatly and kissed Urk's hand, making a solemn vow to guard her. Urk's widened eyes reflected shock as he eventually embraced a path of his own choosing. Under the glowing moon over the fortress, Art reaffirmed his free will as the carriage rolled deeper into the evening. They braced themselves to face the future together. Art pivoted, shocked by Urk's entrance. She remained in a fresh gown, quietly adjusting a ribbon. He stared, speechless. Her silent nervousness packed the atmosphere additional than words could. Art softly completed a purifying enchantment with a touch of perfume, then offered a poised bow as Urk quietly asked for his escort, to which he agreed with composed, graceful sincerity. The doors unsealed. Arm in arm, Art and Urk stepped into the hall. Poised and composed, they strode forward side by side. Tonight they would expression the realms side by side. Urk strode into the ballroom with steady grace as whispers scattered about her beauty. All eyes trailed as Art remained at her side, and uncertainty flickered quietly in her thoughts. Art leaned closer with silent assurance that steadied Urk's spirit. She glanced at him, pulse quickening, and as the music stood about them, they moved forward together without hesitation. The orchestra played as attention stayed fixed on them. Urk's look settled until Art's tone emerged from the crowd, catching her attention as a subtle shift signaled something new beginning. Art reached out, invited her to dance, and after a brief pause, Urk agreed with a gentle smile. As their hands met, the commotion of the chamber seemed to disappear. With composed elegance, Art guided Urk onto the dance floor. Their movements aligned naturally, and when their eyes met, a quiet understanding passed between them, tender, sincere, and perfectly in sync. The crowd watched silently, yet for Art and Urk, all things else faded. In that intimate moment, each step and glance conveyed a wordless story shared by only the two of them. Urk grinned softly as Art led her across the dance. Their steps were graceful. But throughout the chamber, another pair of eyes widened. Somebody had eventually spotted him. A sudden outcry disrupted the dance as a royal hurried in and clung to Art, crying with delight. Urk stopped mid-step, shocked and confused by the girl's unexpected arrival. The royal dramatically recounted a fantastical story of saved devotion and fate. Urk observed in disbelief as Art struggled to process the situation. Recognizing her identity as Princess Lei, as confusion scattered, Urk confronted Art, demanding clarity. He panicked under pressure as Princess Leia held his arm and asked privacy, drawing immediate attention as the surrounding crowd quickly gathered. Lady Wenty stepped with a dramatic flourish, fans snapping open as she claimed attention with poise and mischief. Murmurs scattered quickly across the hall while Art reacted with visible shock and disbelief. Wenty's father abruptly reached and called Flamen de Garl as her fiancée, shocked and furious. Wenty rejected the idea and lunged at him in protest, her scream abruptly stifled mid-outburst. Her father dismissed the turmoil as a joke, yet forcefully pressed her towards Flamen. Wenty recoiled, shaking as she quietly revealed that he had just struck her for the first time. Wenty abruptly escaped across the crowd. Ignoring her father's call, Urk watched in silence, slowly piecing things together as a nearby princess approached and mentioned a past rescue and special gift. Art seemed startled upon learning the royal had dispatched him a lavish token of gratitude, equal to a national budget. Urk immediately tensed as attention shifted and questions arose among the nobles. The royal questioned about the missing gift, yet Art couldn't recall receiving it. Urk's posture tightened as murmurs became, and one noble sharply questioned his presence beside her in public. The royal, slightly dazed by her own remarks, invited Art to her estate, prompting Urk to protest intensely as their argument escalated. Art attempted to interject, seeking a moment to speak. The mood became chaotic as Urk clung to Art and yelled her objection to any marriage. The shocked crowd stood frozen. Wenty, on the floor, whispered, "As long as Art's here." Trapped between Urk and the royal, Art struggled to free himself as the strain reached its peak. Abruptly, Wenty burst in angrily and claimed him, silencing the entire hall instantly. Wenty's enraged entry shocked the chamber. Urk froze, the princess stood speechless, and Art's eyes widened as recognition dawned. Wenty's trembling voice and piercing gaze fixed entirely on him. The crowd quietly crafted way as Wenty approached, invoking a promise from the history. Urk and the royal remained motionless, while Art, conflicted and silent, struggled to grasp his own feelings. 8 years earlier, Wenty wept silently, isolated and bullied. As Art remained beside her in stillness, he spoke with gentle reassurance, reminding her that her kindness was her greatest strength. Wenny's tears pivoted into fury as she questioned Art's suffering. Clenching her fists, she vowed to not ever allow him to carry sorrow alone, forging a deep determination in that moment. In the present, Wenty advanced with intense determination. Art, and the others observed her carefully, noticing a transformation. She had returned not in sorrow, but with the will to stand and fight. Wenny approached with a chilly smile and questioned Art's absence, criticizing his role as an attendant. Her tone sounded sweet, yet her gaze carried a sharpness that made Art hesitate. Stepped in, addressing Wenny with assurance. Wenty dismissed her at first, yet strain spiked as strongly introduced herself, unsettling Wenty upon realizing she was facing the infamous Icefield girl. Strongly insisted Wenny step away from Art, maintaining steadfast eye contact. Wenny challenged her, yet confirmed her stance, and silence fell across the ballroom as everyone waited for Art's response. Remained her affirming that Art would choose for himself. Wenny responded with disdain as Art trembled, struggling to speak as he quietly acknowledged the inevitability of this confrontation. Softly approached and assured Art not to push himself. He agreed faintly, yet inner turmoil raged as past conditioning warred against the path of self-determination he now considered. The steward clarified Art's upbringing under Rubido authority, stating that his first orders shaped his worldview. Wenny heard intently, absorbing the truth that Art followed orders like laws engraved in memory. Art trembled, unable to move as childhood trauma took hold. The steward uncovered terror from his history bound him, while resolute, stepped forward with determination to break the cycle. Clenched her fists, noticing how Art constantly sacrificed for others. Wenty's frustration changed into guilt as she understood her actions may have contributed to his sorrow and emotional collapse. Confronted Wenny directly, accusing her of exploiting Art's compassion to the point of breaking him. Wenny recoiled at the accusation, yet steadfast stance insisted accountability before forgiveness. Wenny delivered up the gold she had dispatched, yet steadily revealed it was never received. Wenty reacted with shock while Art's trembling hands hinted at his growing sense of unease. Wenty's claim that Art belonged to her and simply trailed orders echoed in his thoughts. Clutching his chest, he silently resisted the pull of those words and their control. As Art's thoughts spiraled, fearing he might hurt once more if paralyzed by the history, he gazed towards her. She returned his gaze with steady warmth, urging him to choose. Art gazed up, recognizing the reality he had long known. As Wenty encouraged him to leave, stepped forward, reminding him of the day he stayed and saved her with magic. Remembered every act of Art's compassion and aid, her tone trembling as she expressed a deep desire to finally return that care and become someone who could help him. 2. Wenny issued a commanding command, yet Art stayed frozen between conflicting voices, one rooted in the history, the other in the present, while quietly pleaded for a chance to stand by him. Looked at Art with silent sincerity, urging him to stop sacrificing himself for others, and to eventually consider his own well-being. Her tone filled with gentle but firm concern. Tears assembled in her eyes as she pleaded for honesty. Art, visibly shaken, sensed her remarks slice through his fear, triggering a quiet but undeniable change deep within him.
Art remained yet as remarks echoed. "Take care of yourself, please." Her tone trembled. "Don't lie to me." He pivoted gradually, eyes widening. Her sincerity departed him breathless. "Don't lie," repeated, stepping closer. Art stared. The chamber had gone silent. "I've been cared for by such caring others." He considered. And yet he had doubted them. He lowered his eyes. "I'm the worst," he murmured. "I hurt the one who felt in me." Around him, those who'd shown him warmth lingered for his answer. Art clutched his chest. "Am I betraying them?" He didn't want to. His spirit pounded. "I don't want to run. I can't keep lying to others who believe in me." When he pivoted, "We're leaving." "Art." But Art remained rooted. Offered me a will, not just orders." His recollections flooded. Moments she remained by him, not ever asking anything in return. "I've let her down," he considered. Observing silent sorrow, "She felt in me when I couldn't." Tears welled in her eyes. "I crafted her cry since I paused." Art noticed the sorrow in eyes. "Even if I've failed as a steward," he considered. "Even if I'm not perfect," his spirit clenched. "I yet choose her." Enshadowed, considered. He stepped forward. Wenty and remained apart. Art's tone was silent yet certain. "I won't lie anymore." He pivoted. His choice was plain. When he froze as Art faced her. "No additional lies," he stated. Her look changed. Silence dropped once more, this moment packed with certainty. Art had eventually chosen, for himself and for Urk. Art faced Wenti. "I'm sorry, I didn't know about the gold." His tone was steady. "But I was cast out. I no longer serve the Rubito household." Urk whispered his name. "Stop it," Wenti shouted. "That's in command." But Art didn't flinch. He stepped forward. Tone steadfast. "I am no longer your steward." The hall observed, breath gripped. Art bowed greatly. "I am Urk, Isiel's steward." His declaration echoed, Urk's eyes packed with tears. Wenti trembled. The instant had come. Art had crafted his decision plainly and proudly. Urk stepped forward. "Wenti Rubito, if you continue, I won't forgive you." Wenti glared. Urk's tone trembled. "Art is caring. He deserves harmony." The chamber braced as tension stood sharply. Wenti snapped. "Why solely you? He was mine." She screamed, fists trembling. "Art has constantly been mine." But Urk didn't flinch. "Do you want punishment for disrespecting the royal estate?" Guards shifted. Rubito heir spotted fleeing. One cried. Wenti's father had vanished. When he shrieked, stumbling, "Art, you'll regret this," she shouted. But Art didn't answer. Her tone faded into stillness. When he remained frozen, understanding the battle was genuinely over, her tone split. "Why?" But no one responded. Her realm had changed, and Art no longer remained at her side. Urk stepped forward, tears dropping quietly. She embraced Art, lacking hesitation. He gasped, "Urk?" Her arms trembled, yet her smile was steady. "Welcome, residence." She murmured against his shoulder. Art's tone shook. "I'm residence." The ballroom, once tense, softened. He had chosen not as a attendant, yet as himself. And Urk, she had lingered and agreed him entirely. The aristocrat squabbled. "You drove her away," somebody cried. Urk stayed composed. Art blinked at the commotion. "She's the one who guarded me," he considered, glancing at Urk beside him. Attendant hurried in. Panicked. "Urgent news," he shouted. Urk pivoted, eyes narrowing. "What is it?" The figure bowed. "It's bad. Fire and town and our state are under danger." Throughout the horizon, a shadowy cloud shifted. Thousands of black locusts. "They're headed straight for us," the messenger gasped. Art's look hardened. "A fresh danger," he whispered, "and we're not prepared."
A figure called Pettis remained before the guildmaster, introducing himself with firm resolve. Despite the casual tone, Pettis glared warily. Art felt strain, yet steadily prepared to explain his unusual request. Pettis, rubbing his chin, remembered 2 decades of ominous black moth outbreaks. Art leaned forward as Pettis recounted the growing danger that consumed cities and overcome defenses. Worsening by the year, eyes widening, Art froze. Pettis eventually uncovered the current disaster. Almost 500 billion black moths were approaching. Their sheer number pivoted the heavens black, threatening to swallow the mainland whole. 500 billion. Urk yelled, stunned. Frey narrowed her eyes. Riemann's look pivoted grim. "It must be him." Ted muttered, "But it's not yet moment for its appearance." From the endless swarm emerged a glowing being. Art's eyes sharpened. "The pure strain," Pettis confirmed. Its skeletal wings beat like thunder. This wasn't just in plague, it was a declaration. The pure strain. Urk questioned. Pettis agreed. A black insect raised pure white, classified S rank. Urk's expression tightened. One could destroy a country. Frey clenched his fist. "So we're heading to Fyern." "A week departed," Pettis stated steadily. Frey flinched. Was there sufficient moment to evacuate? Riemann added grimly, "One additional report. If they advance this course, Drab will fall. The entire east collapses." Art lifted her hand. "I have a strategy." Pettis scoffed, doubting him. Riemann defended him. "Don't underestimate him." Riemann gestured towards Art. "Go on, tell us your concept." Tension packed the chamber. Art gripped up a bottle. "Lemon liquid, enchanted with insect deterrent sorcery, helps the throat too." The maids gasped. "It's you, the one from before." Art grinned, eventually realized for his past kindness. Art clarified steadily. "If we succeed, we'll buy 2 additional days." Urk vouched for him, recalling how he'd made the insect deterrent. The others started to believe and admire his silent power. Frey blinked. "You're deeper than me." Pettis scoffed, yet relented. "Can you do it, Art?" Art agreed. "I will." Even Riemann, startled by the strategy, entrusted the mission to Art. Riemann addressed the court. "Will inform the monarch. Trust this mission to Art." Everyone, from aristocrats to servants, observed Art gravely. Urk considered. "He treats us like household." Unity packed the hall. Art remained tall. "I'll guard House Isfiel." Urk observed quietly, shifted by his conviction. Meanwhile, instructions were given: gather in 2 days, track movement, update intel, and meet Art then. Alone in the shower, Urk reflected silently. Water streamed down as her spirit wrestled with emotions. Art constantly remained by me, even when I couldn't ask him to. Recollections hurried, Art helping with chores, defending her, believing in her. I just want to be his power, Urk considered. Don't lie to me, Art. I solely want the reality. Steam packed the chamber as Urk murmured, am I constantly the one being saved? She stepped out with resolve. Somewhere else, carriage wheels spun. Can I leave just like this? Encouraged by burning pride, the maiden clenched her fist. I won't let the Ice Lady steal Art, she yelled. The carriage surged forward. Art, please wait for me.
Art confirmed the dubious figures were genuine and near. Smiling, he welcomed 5 numbered girls sitting neatly. They were research subjects, and their presence close aided him continue his work efficiently. Urk questioned if Art investigated all things alone. He agreed, mentioning limited moment. Urk gazed concerned, silently asking him not to overdo it. I'll assistance if required, she vowed. Eyes grave, Art thanked her earnestly. He noted the wheat-based antidote failed, no signs of improvement. A maiden reached impatiently, arms crossed. Art pivoted as she barked, hurry up and show results. Art was startled as Princess Lee seemed unannounced. She scolded him for not knocking. Urk and Art bowed courteously. Lee announced she'd completed her mission and now insisted his cooperation. Art stared. Overcome, Leah presented treasure, ancient scrolls, and 5 million gold, a full help. She stated, her assistance boasted of eliminating shadowy cultists. Art muttered, this is too much. Lee abruptly delivered up marriage. Your promise to marry me, remember? Art panicked, denying it. Urk remained speechless. Leah cried, you rescued me. I'm yours now. Art gasped, this is absurd. Leah and Urk argued intensely, pulling Art between them. He awkwardly attempted to stop the battle. Leah suggested exaggerated sorcery powers. Art sighed, that's not how it works at all. Art boldly claimed he could yet assistance. Lee consented yet questioned him to take care of the huge ant creatures. He froze. Seriously, he mumbled, observing one crawl towards him. Lee maintained she could handle anything. Art noted she had a thing on her expression yet remained quiet as he departed for the woodland. Urk cried, it's deadly, I'm coming too. Art cautioned Urk not to follow. She was powerful yet she is aristocrat, and any injury would be terrible. Urk remained yet conflicted. Art understood she often blamed herself for all things. Art paused yet questioned Urk to assistance escort Leah instead. Urk processed it silently, agreed with a gentle, I see. Leah scowled quietly, watching their interaction with disapproval. Lee departed after confirming Urk would accompany her. Art reminded her not to get hurt. Urk grinned faintly, replying, I won't. She unsealed the door, stepping forward with silent determination. As Art ventured out, Urk explored the library for aged research books. Outside, Leah observed insects devour all things in sight. She sighed, they really eat anything. Time ticked gradually. Leah sensed restless. She concerned Art might not return. Watching him leave stirred doubt. Was it right to keep him? Was she just a selfish maiden gripping onto a thing fragile? As Art departed, Urk remained beyond. Leka masked her anxiety with assurance. He'll be fine, she stated, then pivoted grave. What's the strategy for the gold-eating insects? We must act. Lee stated that all involved had been imprisoned. Normally, it would mean execution. Yet she spared them for Art's sake. Urk heard quietly, unsure whether Art even understood the reality. Lek questioned aloud if Art should be told. Urk pivoted away. Hesitating, you are understanding, Leka stated, the caring of lady who can forgive anything. Urk's look didn't change. Leka clarified that witches are meant to absorb burdens to comfort others. It's in our blood, she claimed. Then paused, understanding a thing. Why am I lecturing you like a rival? Leah maintained she was sufficient on her own, brushing off concern. She mocked a bizarre concept for insect food, tossing it down. This might even lead to a discovery. Both girls reeled in shock at the insect's radiant reaction. Meanwhile, Wendy sat alone in her chamber, embraced and mourning her losses, her thoughts buried in unexpressed sorrow and regret.
Wendy remained motionless, misplaced and considered. Her realm, once gentle, now sensed far away. Only Art's presence mattered. Wealth and titles meant none. If Art's here, that's sufficient. She considered quietly. She recalled his rejection. It was the first moment she sensed cast out. But yet, she felt, Art was hers with him. Even her history isolation faded into stillness. Recollections surfaced. The girls who bullied her, who tormented her rank, and mocked her bloodline. Punish them. She had begged Art. His composed determination back then had departed an impression. When he remembered when Art summoned her household, his compassion terrified her. She clung to pride. Yet deep down, she understood Art was not ever weak. She had been the one scared. She had taken advantage of Art's compassion. Despite calling him household, she treated him like an attendant. Tears dropped as she murmured, "I'm sorry, Art. I'm so sorry." Overcome with regret, Wendy shouted out, "I loved him this much." She embraced the recollection of Art tightly. The warmth she missed most was slipping from her shaking fingers. When he burst into the hall, declaring Late's Rubito under arrest for treason and illegal trade. Her tone trembled, yet she remained firm. The hall erupted in stunned whispers and strain. Lates clenched her fist. "Lee must have arranged this," she murmured. The warrior confirmed her father's secret dealings. Her look stiffened. Understanding her family's betrayal had deeper roots than imagined. Lates recognized the reality. Her father had sacrificed her. "Yes," she muttered as the guards shut in. Wendy gazed on quietly as Lates was escorted away, lacking resistance. Lates vanished, whispering regret for not ever apologizing to Art. Meanwhile, Art traveled silently with a caravan. A maiden questioned if he was okay. "It's none," he answered, scanning the path. Art traveled with companions Hugh, Thea, and Brad of the Azure Sword. They chatted as Art stayed vigilant. Monsters had grown aggressive lately. His stillness masked silent strain in the woodland air. Brad praised Art's scouting. Others mentioned royal routes had cleared thanks to him. Tia cautioned monsters now seemed in groups. The team pushed on, wagons rolling across restless wilderness. Art discussed the likelihood of monsters mutating due to the queen bee's influence. Hugh apologized. Suddenly, Brad announced he'd take down any enemy. Unaware threat was already approaching fast. Thea felt a thing wrong. A giant shadow loomed. Brad smirked until the creature emerged. Giant bear. Somebody yelled. Panic hit the group as the being rushed, monstrous and enraged. The bear lunged. Brad hardly reacted before Art dashed in, swift and intent. With breeze, sorcery, and speed, Art sliced across the air, rescuing Thea and redirecting the enemy's wrath. Art caught Thea just in moment. Hugh cautioned him the bear was yet close. Brad screamed as the creature loomed beyond them. Art apologized, braced, and launched another assault. Art hit with precision. It reacted to my speed, he considered. The bear's instincts were sharper than expected. Still, Art maintained shifting, his breeze sorcery slicing through the heavy air. The creature roared once more. Art spun midair, delivering a deep blow. The strike landed cleanly. From a distance, Thea's eyes widened. "He struck it," she murmured. Eyes fixed on Art, Art delivered the last blow, striking down the huge bear in a perfect, decisive slash. His team stared in awe, speechless at the severe strength Art showed alone. Just as relief formed in, an odd sound stood. A whirling hum encircled the woodland. "What is this? A tone? A song?" they whispered, eyes turning towards the heavens. An enormous swarm darkened the heavens. The atmosphere thickened with dread. Everyone stared upward in shock. Thea gasped. "Black locusts!" The genuine danger had just reached. Art raced ahead alone. The black locusts weren't arriving in a week. They'd be there in 3 days. "I must warn them now," he yelled, pushing forward at full speed. Panic scattered as newspapers announced the destruction of Turquoise. People scanned the headlines, concern on his expression. Shouldn't the monarch act? One questioned. Some aristocrats already escaped. Another answered gravely. Chancellor Cyrilla slammed the paper, stunned. "What is this?" he yelled. Whispers of doubt towards the monarch echoed across the palace. Minister Aniel barked back, "Silence the others if required." The king's tone thundered, halting the chaos. "The country is its others. If they fall, so does the realm." His firm stance challenged his ministers, demanding unity and rightful leadership. Reports detailed dwindling troops. Only 300 elite knights stayed. "Where are the kingdom's generals?" somebody questioned. The shadows of absent heroes loomed. The king's eyes narrowed with lifting concern. For over 500 years, the Drad kingdom flourished by mastering sorcery and slaying monsters. The monarch reflected on its legacy yet became restless. His daughter, Leia, was missing from the court. Leia lay unconscious in a faraway field, glowing with enigmatic glow. "Lee," the monarch whispered. Worried, in another location, a magical beacon activated, taking the attention of startled onlookers close. As Unit 1 emitted glow, Urk and Leia panicked. "Something's happening beyond," Leia shouted. Art reached quietly. "Apologies," Urk exclaimed uneasily. Art observed, sensing the start of a thing greater. Art cheered, amazed, incredible, both of you. Urk remained stiff, unsure. You're not furious. Art laughed, overcome with admiration. She flushed, puzzled, as Urk attempted to process her growing emotions. Urk pivoted away, quietly smiling. I must become somebody worthy of remaining beside Art, she considered. Leah defended herself. That was Princess Urk's doing. Urk hardly hid her embarrassment. Urk clenched her fists, resolved, I can't afford to falter now. She considered as Art summoned out. She gazed ahead, prepared to step into a role greater than before. Leah burst into tears, overcome by approval. I'm glad I eventually aided, she sobbed. Art and Urk comforted her softly, understanding how greatly the small girl had yearned for belonging. Lee grinned brightly, proud of her power. Thank you very much, she chirped. Urk agreed steadily as Art muttered, she's tougher than she looks. The instant was light, but brief it seemed abruptly. The prince has reached, he cautioned. Art tensed. Outside, Fire and Town dropped into chaos. Blackbirds circled overhead. The town, Urk murmured, eyes narrowing at the destruction. Fire and City trembled as monstrous birds struck from the skies. Monsters have breached the town, a fighter yelled. Citizens escaped in terror as shadows loomed over rooftops. Blotting out the sun, panic consumed the streets. Screams echoed as buildings split and youngsters dropped. Chaos reigned, an enormous being descended, its eyes locking onto a target. The heavens dimmed under its wings. A mighty gaze met the gloom. Someone remained yet. Magic stirred. Eyes widened with determination as glow started to form, spheres of strength slowly rising against the black wave of dread. Youngsters screamed as the monster's assault neared. Art reached just in moment, scanning the field. I beat Urk here, yet the Queen's Serpent's influence. Things are worse than expected. A loud cry broke across Pettis. Art pivoted to see a blonde warrior arrive. Aren't you Tencho Art's training partner? He gasped. Watch out. Pettis jumped into the fray. The heavens darkened as the creature lunged. Pettis dodged and yelled, Royal Knight Commander Marcos, take the field. A mighty sword flashed. The crowd remained shocked. This guy's genuine. From the smoke emerged Marcos, seamed, armor bright, cape billowing, sword in hand. The crowd froze. The strongest figure has reached. His eyes fixed forward, the field changed instantly. Marcos remained firm before them. Art observed in awe. He's the commander, Pettis murmured. He handled that ruined town? Marcos surveyed the area quietly, then growled, step back. Marcos's tone boomed. From here on, this falls under the Royal Knights. Art and the others were pressed aside. The soldiers advanced with force. Move out. Eradicate them all. As the knights surged forward, Art paused. Something's wrong, Pettis cautioned. Marcos rushed ahead with assurance, but Art's instinct screamed. He braced himself. Art, get prepared. The warning came too late. The earth exploded as Marcos unleashed his strength. Rubble flew in all directions. Buildings smashed under the impact. Soldiers and civilians scrambled for cover. The town shook under a single strike. Debris rained from the heavens. Dust clouded vision. The shockwave rippled outward, engulfing the plaza. From the center, solely stillness. Art stared, shocked. That was just one move. He understood. At the blast core remained Marcos, unmoved around him. The earth was carved into a perfect ring of devastation. This is the Royal Knight Commander's power, Pettis murmured in awe. Art stepped back. Is he going to crush all things? He muttered. Marcos exhaled. Sorry, too much pressure during casting. The blast magnitude shocked even companions. The field dropped into stillness. A monstrous being jumped across the smoke. Pettis froze. Commander, he yelled. Marcos reacted instantly, sword lifting. The creature lunged, time slowed. Pettis could solely watch as steel met fangs. With unflinching eyes, Marcos hit down the creature. The impact divided the atmosphere. Dozens additional creatures emerged, wings spreading wide, but Marcos remained tall. This ends now, he announced, charging in. Marcos sliced across monsters effortlessly. Art remained shocked. I've not ever seen others this powerful, he considered. Creatures dropped one after another. Marcos's sword not ever halted. His intent was plain annihilation. Art clenched his fists. He's on another level, unmatched, he murmured. Marcos's gaze not ever wavered. Today's harmony exists since I eliminate the foe in front of me. No exceptions. For 15 years, Marcos remained as the kingdom's shield. No invasions, no wars, he alone preserved balance. Among ruins, he gripped his blade firm, an unshakable force forged by responsibility. Art understood it wasn't just brute power. Marcos had bought moments shielding civilians and companions. If I had that caring of courage, maybe I could have remained like him back then. Art recalled history failures. I couldn't guard Urk, he considered. Now monsters swarmed once more. Marcos growled, "Stand back, I'll handle it." Blood dripped. "Commander, you are bleeding." "It's none," Marcos answered. Art's eyes narrowed. "Even if I'm weak," Urk agreed me. He stepped forward. "I'll guard her, too." The glow stood about him. His determination ignited. "I will battle, no matter what." Art lifted his hand. "For your smile, Urk," he murmured. Magic surged, wash, liquid, acid, impact, lightness, combined spells created glowing orbs, each trapping a creature. "Misty bubble hell," he announced. The orbs floated quietly, each sealing a being within. "Magic, that numerous spells right away." Pettis muttered, stunned. Art stepped forward alone, fingers prepared. "Now explode." The atmosphere tightened about them. The earth flashed. Art remained yet, strength humming. Time slowed. Marcos glanced over, noticing the shift. "Not bad, kid," he whispered. Meanwhile, Art's limit neared. Yet he clenched his jaw. Steadfast Marcos stepped forward. "Royal Knight Commander Marcos," he declared. "Art, your sorcery was impressive." Shocked, Art bowed. "I'm just a candidate under the Icefield household," he stammered. Tone trembling, Marcos agreed. "You've earned respect." Art remained shocked. Then Ted hurried in. Art swiftly. The orphanage. Art's spirit dropped. "Urk, she's in threat." Without pause, he pivoted and rushed. At the orphanage, Urk faced the beasts alone, sword drawn, eyes composed. She remained between the youngsters and monsters. "The demon's wrath draws near." A tone murmured on the breeze.
Urk sliced across the beast's hide, guarding the youngsters behind her. Claws scraped her side, yet she didn't falter. The orphanage echoed with roars, yet she rejected to back down. She remembered Art's smile. "I constantly wish to battle beside him, to guard others, like he does. Damn. I can't move well while shielding them," Urk thought, gritting her teeth. With clenched fists and burning determination, Urk rushed. "Even if I'm alone, I'll guard them." Her sword swung wide. She jumped forward, eyes intense, prepared to end the danger herself. Urk battled intensely, striking down one creature after another. Her form staggered from the strain, yet she pressed forward. Blood dripped from her arm. She couldn't afford to hesitate now. She reached for her next assault, yet tripped on a concealed rock. "A rock?" she gasped. Her rhythm broke. The wolves shut in. "No, I can't stop now." Urk gritted her teeth, slashing wide to hold them back. Her eyes narrowed. No terror, solely focus. As she shifted, abruptly another movement was crafted. Not sure what was that. Art reached Urk. "I crafted it in moment." He stated, breathless. She gazed away. "You rescued me once more," her tone trembled. "I'm sorry for being too weak." Art shook his head. "Don't say that. Use the emergency potion." Urk paused, then agreed. Ted rushed in, shouting, "Miss Urk." She steadied herself. "I'm fine, no issue." Ted informed them, "The association is gripping an emergency meeting." Art's eyes narrowed. "Let's go." They raced across the town streets. "Excuse me," coming across. Urgency growing with every step. Art reached at the association. A wounded officer knelt before him. "Sorry, Vice Commander." "Don't speak." Art offered him a potion. "Who are you?" the commander questioned. Art presented himself. Within the association hall, murmurs packed the atmosphere. Art remained beside Pettis. "I'm Pettis here by special command," he stated. Firen's fall came sooner than expected, 3 days early. Shock scattered. "Only 3 days departed." Somebody shouted, "No countermeasures?" Another slammed the table. "This is too fast." Art panicked as Pettis broke the wall beyond them abruptly. Pettis stepped, composed yet stern. "I'll say it once, this is urgent. Listen up." Art agreed. As previously watched, shadowy hoppers assault fast. We must stop them with liquid-enhanced zones. Art clarified, by channeling my sorcery into liquid-packed bottles, we can slow their charge. Confused murmurs followed. "Is that sufficient?" Art unrolled a scroll. "Here's what I discovered. Take a look." On the table, a shadowy hopper twitched near a glowing sorcery stone. "That's a shadowy sorcery stone," Art stared. "In one test, it absorbed minerals, but what if we amplify it?" Art clarified plainly. "Dark hoppers can't handle sorcery stones. Their bodies lack sorcery tolerance." The association whispered in agreement. "So, we push them back with pure sorcery fields." Art concluded boldly. Applause erupted. "This might be the kingdom's greatest discovery." Somebody stated, No, it's thanks to Princess Urk and Princess Lee. Art corrected. Urk gazed away, then gently stated. Urk flushed as Art pivoted to her. You being by my side gives me power, he stated. She grinned. Then, let's prepare. 3 days until the last conflict. Art stared into the storm, eyes burning with determination. No matter what happens, he considered, I'll guard Urk. Thunder raged ahead, the front lines awaited. The last conflict was coming.
The town echoed with ceremonial drums as aristocrats marched forward. Amidst the crowd, Art spotted an aged lady offering flowers. He agreed quietly, eyes fixed on the approaching knights. At the edge of Gestalt Fortress, Urk and Art surveyed the horizon. Tomorrow's the date, she stated. He agreed. Both grasped the last conflict would decide the fate of numerous youngsters from the orphanage reached with a handmade grace. It's for protection. They stated. Urk's look softened. She embraced them softly, promising, We'll play once more. I'll return no matter what. Art led the youngsters back. Stay safe, he stated. Urk remained observing, eyes firm. Tactical meeting begins now. She summoned the soldiers, pivoted. Duty resumed. Hearts gripped faith and a flower grace. Urk grinned softly, observing the orphans laugh. They're miracles, Art stated. She consented. Recalling her own history. They suffered yet smile, she murmured. Their mission meant guarding such faith. Pettas and Marcos reached. A conflict council assembled, leaders seated before the throne. Art remained beside Urk. It's moment, she announced. Maps uncovered 500 billion beasts advancing. This conflict was their final stand. Strategic formations coated the board. A poison trap was placed. Wheat flour, sorcery stones, lemon liquid. Evacuation routes marked. One commander confirmed. All eyes pivoted to Urk. She offered the last command. Evening dropped on the fortress as soldiers assembled about the fire, sharing laughter. Urk observed quietly, sensing this harmony might not return. Art stayed alert, his thoughts remaining on tomorrow's risk. Rumors scattered of elite adventurers joining the Western Front. Art and Urk discussed the shifting strategy, their former top rankers. Art noted, he remained abruptly. There's a thing I need to show you. Art led Urk to a silent ridge. What is this? She questioned. Shimmering beetles crawled near odd stones. Ore-eating insects, he stated. They leave beyond pure crystals and threat. Art guided Urk across the glowing grove of ore fireflies. They're lovely, she murmured. He paused, then questioned. You'll stay with the rear guard. She agreed. For them? I must. He gazed away. You're sure? Urk set her hand on his arm. If it's for you, I'll wait. They strode side by side, weighty with unexpressed determination and memory. I remember what you stated, Art whispered. Be yourself. Urk's eyes glistened. She had agreed him. Genuinely, for the first moment, he understood. He wished to guard someone with his life. Bathed in gentle blue glow, Art softly gripped Urk close. Around them, crystal fireflies drifted quietly. In that instant, the chaos of conflict paused. Solely their hearts echoed under the stars. Urk gazed up, tears taking moon glow. I'm sorry for making you worry. Art stated none. Solely gripped her tighter. Her breath steadied, comforted by his warmth, anchored by his promise. I'm a steward, Art stated steadily, devoted to my master's joy. Urk's eyes widened. For you, he murmured. Even my life is a little price. She eventually grasped. He meant it, as they yet embrace each other. Art proceeded. But I'll return to you, she murmured. Eyes on the moon, her spirit clenched. Art, she whispered, praying he'd come back alive. Art's determination flared under moon glow. He swore quietly, guard her delight, no matter the cost. Unknown to them, far away, a crimson tide started to stir, its strength prepared to awaken. From a veil of red mist, the queen wasp stood. Her wings glowed, legions swirling below, her real power veiled till now, ready to descend, threatening to devour faith itself. With supplies from Princess Urk, sorcery stone, dust, and flour, Art launched the trap. Toxic clouds engulfed the queen wasp's swarm. Operation Black Butter success, the scout reported. Cheering echoed beyond him. Thick white fog rolled over the field. Art and the knights emerged, weapons drawn. Now we hunt the stragglers. One fighter growled. The last sweep started across the infected woodland line. Elsewhere, Pettis roared, Charge, you bastards! Soldiers stormed forward, blades flashing. Art observed from over, calculating movements. The enemy's formation crumbled. Victory sensed near, yet he understood this battle wasn't over yet. Smoke stood, the wolf's signal. Riemann stated strongly. Urk observed quietly in the trees. Art crouched. It's began, he murmured.
eyes fixed forward. The Queen Wasp's presence darkened the atmosphere. The diversion worked, yet threat became. If we stall, we're trapped. Art understood. He required sorcery backup. If you're observing, cover me. His breath quickened. The Hive Queen surged closer. Wings tore across the trees. With a deafening screech, the Queen Wasp emerged. Her enormous form pulsed with strength. Art gritted his teeth. I have to act, before it's too late. The Queen Wasp fully emerged, towering and grotesque. An S rank. Art gasped. Urk's breath hitched, its wings pulsed. That's the Queen, Pettis growled. Brace yourselves. The swarm screamed towards the field. Energy surged from the Queen. Take cover. Rimmon yelled, soldiers ducked. A blinding sphere expanded outward, the earth shook violently. It's unleashing all things. Art clenched his jaw. We can't fall here. The explosion swallowed the field. Trees smashed. Walls split. Debris rained. The fortress trembled under the shock wave. Smoke thickened the atmosphere for an instant, solely stillness. Then the rubble started to stir. The blast scarred the field, smoke lifting from smashed earth. Are you all right? Urk yelled. I'm fine. Rimmon grunted. Soldiers regrouped. The fortress hardly remained. Everyone. Report rank instantly. Art pressed himself up across debris. Urk is all safe? He scanned the ruins. Survivors yelled for medics. Monsters everywhere, one gasped. Art's fist clenched. This isn't over yet. Roars thundered. From the dust emerged monstrous beasts, dragons, ogres, and winged fiends. What are these things? A fighter shouted. Art's eyes widened. Another wave. They're bringing in reinforcements. Emergency monsters incoming. A scout yelled. Dragons and giants swarmed. Giant Bear and the raid weren't spared, a fighter shouted. Art drew his sword. I'll guard them. With my own hands. Far away, within the palace, Princess Lei sat silently. It must be chaos beyond, her housemaid murmured. Lee agreed. Still, it will be all right. I believe in them. The monarch lay bedridden. Leah remained by his side. You yet worry for us, father. A warrior questioned gently, will you sing? She smiled. For them? I constantly will. Art steadied his sword, the world's strongest steward. That's me, he muttered, dust swirled. Above the chaos, Leah's tone echoed, gentle and steady, singing into the spirit of the field. Leah's tone stood, shine, radiant moon, glow his way. Her song bore across fire and ash. Art dashed forward, power surging. Beyond this gloom, I will reach them all. Blades clashed, Art sliced across beasts in a blur. To guard you, I'll expression anything. He vowed, with strength and precision he hit. Until we meet once more, I will battle. Art's gaze sharpened. Just reach her. He considered. Monsters swarmed. Yet he pushed forward. Nothing else mattered. Not sorrow, not terror. If this desire can be granted, I solely want her. Yerk remained at the fortress gates, tears welled. Yet her tone stayed firm. I must stay powerful. She listened to cries of assault. Monsters are breaching. Ready the defense. Chaos erupted. Urk issued orders. Form squads, load the siege crystals. Guild troops shifted swiftly. Ted approached. Artillery prepared. Lady Urk, she agreed. We end this. Today, we guard what matters side by side. Fire, Urk commanded. Stones launched from siege weapons, smashing foe ranks. The monsters faltered. Direct struck. A fighter yelled. The troops rallied. The tide was turning. Yet the conflict wasn't over. Rimmon grinned. Your childhood training paid off. Urk answered silently. It was for this date. Rimmon added. We battle for others, yet don't lie to yourself as doing it. Urk paused. Lie. Rimmon's eyes were firm. Justice isn't constantly right. What matters is being real to your spirit. She pivoted away gradually, his words weighing heavier than any sword. Urk remained yet, Rimon's remarks echoing. Don't lie to your spirit. She clenched her fist. I want to guard them. That's my reality. That's my desire. No additional pretending. She recalled the others, the town, too. Art. I'm not powerful like legends, she considered. Yet I've trained for this. Urk chose the rear guard for the mission. For survival for him. I can aid him. She noticed Art's courage and sensed her own determination ignite. Commander, she stated strongly. Send me to the front. I must stand where I'm required most. I want to guard this town and those I love. Urk announced. Rimmon offered a proud nod. Then go, Urk, yet survive. Behind them, the atmosphere trembled. Something enormous approached. The Queen Wasp descended with a chilling roar. An uninvited guest, Rimmon muttered, gripping his armament. Urk stepped forward, eyes fixed. It's come to end this. The last conflict loomed from afar. Art gasped. No, he rushed across smoke and debris. She's targeting the fortress. The queen advanced on the stronghold. Urk, hang on, I'm coming. The real climax had begun. The queen's wings roared throughout the heavens. Art battled across the storm, dodging lethal strikes. This can't be genuine, he muttered. But it was. He pivoted towards Urk's final position. Art held his side. Urk, stay safe, he murmured. The queen hovered over, casting shadow over the field. He compelled himself up. I have to guard the others too. Explosions smashed the gate. Urk knelt beside a fallen ally. Emergency. Evacuate to fallback positions now. She ordered, gritting her teeth. She stood. We'll stand. We must survive this wave. The queen deflected all attacks. She's too powerful. A warrior cried. Urk launched spells, frost, flame, yet they vanished midair. Don't get close, she cautioned. The queen's aura nullified all things near her. Is it suppressing sorcery? Urk understood. Rimon narrowed his eyes, new caring of beast. Panic scattered. If our knights fall, Ted lifted a hand. No, somebody else is coming. Watch carefully. A person landed hard, sword drawn. Marcos. Rimon stated, reassured. The warrior agreed. Sorry for the delay. He faced the queen. I'll handle this now. You've gripped long sufficient. Urk stared. Such strength, she gasped. Marcos clashed with the queen, each strike trembling the earth, truly worthy of leading the royal knights. Rimon muttered. But the queen didn't fall. Marcos's blow landed, tearing across energy. Dust exploded outward. Silence dropped. All eyes searched the crater. Urk stepped forward, spirit racing. Was that sufficient? Her hold tightened about her staff. Shadows stirred from the rubble. The queen stood once more. Unfazed gasps echoed throughout the field. She survived. Urk murmured. The foe wasn't completed. The genuine test was just beginning. The queen wasp's assault scorched the earth. Art winced, smoke blinding him. I can't see, he paused. If I leave the mobile unit unguarded, they're exposed. The choice clutched him. A head of Art could move. A loud tone rang out. Still remaining genius Art? Pettis seemed. Grinning, Art blinked. Mr. Pettis. Relief flooded him. Don't give up yet, Pettis laughed. Throughout the plain, cavalry thundered in. A fresh squad of knights rushed forward, blades bright. Someone straightened. Reinforcements had reached. The conflict wasn't over, and faith surged once additional. Frey, Art summoned. The warrior commander reached. Sorry, I'm late. Frey reported that the queen's aura could be suppressing monsters. Coordinate warrior units throughout the field. We need formation now. Swords lifted. The knights yelled side by side. Strike evil from the shadows. Honor to Driftwood. The heavens darkened with foe wings, yet the earth now stood firm with loyal steel and fire. As the charge started, Pettis stepped forward. Art, he stated steadily, go to the queen. Art froze. What? Pettis grinned. Only you can reach her. We'll handle the rest. Go, Pettis stated, back pivoted. Art paused. But Pettis grinned. You're thinking of Urk, right? I'll handle things here. He stepped forward. Now go, she's lingering for you. Art unleashed an enormous frost enchantment. Frey, he yelled. Knights rallied beyond him. Sorry I'm late, cried Hugh. For your sister's sake, I won't miss a swing. Frey rushed forward. Pettis gazed at Art boldly. You considered you battled alone, huh? Art pivoted as additional allies arrived. Look carefully, Pettis stated. You were not ever alone, not for an instant. Art remained among comrades, observing them battle. You're not alone, Pettis had stated. He tightened his gloves. Right. His gaze sharpened. Time to go to where she is. I'll defeat the Queen Wasp, Art swore, and return alive. Faces of his companions offered power. Their belief bore him. I'm going to the one I must guard. With a shout, Art raced forward. The field beyond him blurred. His destination was plain, his spirit intent, his will unshaken. This was the instant he would decide all things. The earth split under the Queen's scream. Urk remained alone. So, this is S-class strength, she murmured, gripping her armament. A second's hesitation could end it all, yet she didn't flinch. Urk roared. No regrets. Her sword clashed with the Queen's. I chose this battle. Steel met carapace, sparks flew. To guard them, my others the realm, she pressed forward. I won't give up, she shouted. Urk launched herself into the heavens, striking once more. The queen reeled. Her spirit screamed louder than her tone, "For the tomorrow, this ends with me." Yerk hit hard, yet the queen countered, sending her flying. She struck the earth, gasping. "I can't lose once more," she muttered. Blood rushed. She stood, vision flickering, spirit steadfast. "Art," she murmured. The queen surged forward. Blades and wings collided. Then, just before the strike landed, somebody sliced across the air, flash of steel. "You are not alone," a tone stated. Art caught her, shielding her from the blow. They tumbled, yet remained side by side. Urk gasped, tears brimming. "You came," Art agreed, steady. "Let's end this together." Yerk's eyes widened. "Art, why?" He grinned softly. "Sorry I'm late, Urk." She trembled. "But how?" "Because I had to," he stated, "protecting you. It's my responsibility." They remained side by side. Art clutched his blade. "As your steward, I'll be your shield." Urk agreed, tears in her eyes, no remarks, just the stillness of voiced determination. The queen wasp loomed. Art and Urk stepped forward. "Let's finish this, side by side." They stated in unison, blades lifted, hearts steady. The last conflict had begun. Art shielded Urk, eyes keen. "Dispel her casting arm," he commanded. "I'll create an opening strike then." Urk agreed. They rushed forward, dodging venomous stingers, preparing to wrest across. "Understood." Urk yelled, blade bright. Art dashed ahead, slicing across wasp limbs. The queen wasp shrieked. With one swift feint, Art exposed her vulnerable side, eyes fixed with Urk's signal. Urk lunged, sword thrust deep. The queen's wings fluttered chaotically, sorcery dispersing. Smoke and glow erupted. Art shielded her as debris flew. The insect fell. Victory claimed, their breathing tense. The queen wasp roared, slamming into the earth. Trembling the field, Art's eyes narrowed. Urk gritted her teeth, dodging debris. "She's getting desperate," Art muttered, preparing another coordinated strike. Art shifted first, leaping into a keen feint. The queen countered fiercely, missing. "You disrupted her rhythm." Urk understood aloud. Her blade sliced forward, drawing sparks. Each move tighter, calculated. Art twisted midair, dodging a stinger. "What precise defense?" he considered. They exchanged glances, mutual trust. Urk advanced, eyes keen. "I considered she'd leave an opening," she muttered. None came. Art surged forward, blades crossing in an intense clash. "Her dimension of strength is beyond ours," he considered. The queen shrieked, yet he didn't flinch, solely calculated his next strike. The field trembled under the queen's fury. Dust exploded. Art dodged her venom blast. "Too gentle, queen wasp," he cried. His blade arced with purpose, focus etched deep into his gaze. He launched his skill. Resonant wave. Power burst outward. Urk observed. Bracing from afar, the wasp staggered back, wings shredded. Art remained firm, eyes fixed on the weakening danger ahead. Art dashed back as venom grazed his arm. "She's yet got this much strength," Urk muttered, shielding him. The queen laughed, form glowing. Something darker started to emerge from within. A skull-shaped aura loomed. "An illusion?" Art murmured. "No, it's genuine." Urk cautioned. Their hearts raced. A frightening pressure blanketed them, chilly, unnatural, paralyzing. Even Urk's tone trembled for an instant. The queen transformed, an eldritch person with eyes and wings blooming like a nightmare. "This is terror," Urk understood. Art remained firm, yet unease clutched them. A greater conflict had begun, Urk gasped. That form, frightening. The queen wasp unleashed her full strength, a grotesque divine shape. Art steadied himself. "She's grave now," he cautioned. Lightning split as wings scattered wide. "Get prepared," Art yelled. A barrage of shadowy tendrils tore towards them. He jumped in, shielding Urk, yet the queen's attacks changed midair. Brilliant, chaotic. He struggled to find a gap. Urk's eyes widened. Art's counters are being suppressed. She sliced aside incoming flame, breath uneven. "We'll be crushed at this rate." She understood. The queen loomed over, unchallenged, unrelenting. Urk, Art summoned out. She pivoted, startled. "I'll close the distance," she announced. "Strike when I pin her." Her tone shook, yet her determination burned. She wished to stand beside him. Urk's determination shocked Art. "Even I can aid you, Art," she maintained. His spirit wavered, then steadied. "Please command me," he stated. "Order me to defeat the queen wasp." They remained side by side, facing the monstrous enemy as recollections stirred, of a ballroom, of hesitation. Art grinned. Urk's remarks, he considered, shifted me. Her trust offered him courage to fight on. Art reflected on Urk's remarks. Hers alone offered him courage. No one else, he considered. Solely her tone can move me. He clenched his fist. I won't let her down. Urk stepped forward. Please, Art, defeat the Queen Wasp, she stated, steady and plain. Her hands trembled, yet she gripped her blade with purpose. It's my earnest request. Art agreed. Definitely. Magic surged across him, light assembled, enchant, body reinforcement. He announced. Power wrapped about his form, their last counterattack started. With hearts united and power awakened, Art's form started to glow, hair lifting with sorcery surge. The field gripped its breath. Power wrapped about him like divine armor. He'd reached a fresh height, transcendent and resolute. His technique activated, celestial raiment, no seam. His movements flowed like fabric in breeze, flawless and untouchable. Even the Queen Wasp paused, her instincts sensing threat. Urk's eyes widened in awe. Art vanished from sight. In a blink he seemed beyond the Queen. Blades clashed, atmosphere split. The last strike was coming. Now, he considered. It ends with this. Art remained under the monstrous Queen Wasp. Her eyes widened, sensing a thing last, he lifted his sword. Resonance, he murmured. Composed amid the storm, magic surged. The atmosphere itself trembled. With both hands gripping the blade, Art invoked his strongest technique, Zetsu Ichimonji Slash. He roared. Power condensed to a line. The Queen's screech echoed across crumbling skies. A single, clean stroke sliced across the heavens. Dust exploded, the Queen's form smashed. Silence dropped. The field formed. Victory was plain. Art had hit the last blow. A deep gorge divided the field where Art's sword dropped. Dust swirled, silence trailed. At the edge, he remained tall, blade lowered, energy fading. The last strike had landed. Urk fell in relief. It's over. We prevailed. She breathed. Her blade dropped. Sunlight broke across the clouds. She gazed up, eyes scanning for him, hoping, praying he yet remained. She stood, calling. Art. Her tone split, packed with emotion. He remained silently, silhouetted against the glow. Art. She yelled once more as Art fell, a silent victory, weighty with emotion. As Art backed to Icefield Estate, Urk questioned his conditions. Art, thanking his alchemy-based synthesis sorcery. Despite skepticism, he maintained the emergency potions he crafted had healed him faster than expected. He boldly clarified how combining materials across synthesis formed practical magic. The group heard in awe as they chatted. A attendant abruptly summoned for Art. Urgent news had just reached again. A royal envoy reached suddenly, announcing Art's promotion to nobility. Shocked, Art questioned the choice. The title was a reward for saving the royal heir. His silent deed had reached the throne. Urk protested the unfairness. Enraged, he was honored as she stayed overlooked. Art sat speechless as aristocrats about him celebrated. The news departed him overcome. He would rise from commoner to aristocrat. Understanding the reality, Art grinned gently. I did a thing amazing. Urk, observing his look, flushed. In that silent instant, thanks and admiration packed the air, unspoken but deeply understood between them. During tea, Lee demands cookies. Yet they've run out. Art explains sugar is scarce due to black market issues. She grows annoyed. He steadily proposes a possible answer. All turns to Art as he outlines a strategy, employing his resources. He suggests sourcing sugar from Saikyou flowers. Leah, intrigued, urges him to explain and act swiftly. Art rallies farmers, introducing himself with assurance. Urk and others watches, hopeful. Thus begins the campaign to cultivate Saikyou flowers and solve the sugar crisis across teamwork and determination. Art presents a modified insect, the fertilizer locust, bred to consume pests and produce fertilizer. Farmers watch curiously as he explains its function with confident and careful remarks. Art humbly offers the concept to the assembled farmers. Gald, a rugged leader, steps forward, emotionally shifted by Art's sincerity. He agrees to assistance lacking, demanding money, greatly touched. To win additional aid, Art suggests building hot springs. The farmers, unfamiliar, are intrigued. Urk proposes sharing delight across a relaxing experience, resolved to connect with them deeply. To create the hot springs, Art visits a church and meets Sister Lux. She thanks Urk and listens to Art's request. He insists hot springs are essential, not just leisure. Lux demands a steady potion supply. Art explains his methods, yet she's stunned he consumes them daily. She realizes her potions are dangerously powerful. Art nonchalantly admits he nearly died. Lux reflects on how ineffective the potion has become with frequent use. Art, composed as ever, wonders why such a potent potion is so affordable. Deepening the mystery beyond it, Sister Lux, burdened by her identity as a dark elf, wonders if her race invites prejudice.
Urk offers comfort as Art quietly observes, sensing deeper scars beyond Lux's composed exterior. A youngster interrupts, crying from hunger. Lux comforts the youngster kindly, ignoring judgmental stares. I don't thoughts what others say, she insists, but I must guard these youngsters no matter what. Lux declares her love for humanity, embracing the youngster tightly moved by her sincerity. Art turns to Urk. Should we assistance her? He asks. Urk smiles. Of course, we must. Art gestures boldly first. Try relaxing in the hot springs. The group hesitates, amazed by the grand bathhouse. He smiles, knowing comfort might ease strain better than remarks ever could. With dramatic flair, Art concocts a custom blend, healing minerals, stood fragrance, and purifying stones. Steam swirls about him as he leaps, merging sorcery and skill to perfect the therapeutic waters. Bubbles rise from the revitalizing spring, now infused with potent elements. The guests, shocked by Art's craftsmanship, draw closer. Lux whispers, incredible, and for the first moment genuinely begins to relax. The bath sparkled. Everyone marveled at the gentle liquid and rich scent. Art peeked in, teasingly, ladies solely. They cried, flustered. Urk grinned, hiding thanks beyond playful irritation. Urk earnestly thanked Art for all things. You too, Urk, he answered. Sincerely, the group relaxed, warmed by additional than just the liquid. For once, harmony formed, lacking any need for defense. Lux united the others, assurance replacing hesitation. The girls giggled, teasing each other. Warmth, laughter, and belonging encircled them. For Lux, it sensed like the first genuine instant of approval. Urk soaked silently, her hair glistening, skin glowing. The mineral spring worked wonders. Laughter echoed as the girls relaxed, their worries washed away under the warmth of steam and tender bubbles. Soothed by the bath, they praised Art's creation. It's heavenly, Lux exclaimed. Even skeptical hearts softened. Art, close, was unknowingly becoming the silent center of everyone's comfort and admiration. Lux flushed, admitting gently, Art is powerful and caring. Teasing followed. You like him, don't you? Lux gasped, splashing defensively. Laughter erupted, but her smile uncovered. Yes, maybe she genuinely did. Lux praised Art's compassion, urging Urk to have assurance, support him. She stated softly. Urk's spirit fluttered. Though unsure of his emotions, she wished to stand by him, no matter what. Touched, Urk agreed Lux's request. For the youngsters, I'll assistance. The two clasped hands, sealing a silent pact of trust. Warm smiles met steam as friendship bloomed in the bath. Elsewhere, a shady person observed from the shadows. Big business, Art, he growled, eyes bright. A card glinted in his hand. I'll make him mine, no matter what it takes. The aristocrats gather for tea, strained beyond their smiles. Suddenly, the steward interrupts with a firm knock. A guest arrives, unexpected. All eyes turn. Let him in. A tone orders. An older figure enters with grace. I'm Flaverick, a merchant from the capital. His gaze is keen. The mood shifts. From now on, remember this instant. He warns coldly. Two guards cross blades, blocking his path. What's this imitation? Riemann scoffs. Flaverick grins, unfazed. I've come to discuss a business matter involving your steward, Lord Art. Silence fills the chamber. Art stiffens, shocked by Flaverick's bold offer. Luxuries like lemon liquid and hot springs overwhelm Flaverick. Riemann bows dramatically, shouting, truly divine blessings. The chamber watches, unsure if it's comedy or sincerity. Riemann recalls his history. His mother dropped ill. He bought medicine at a heartless price. That sorrow drives him. That's why I need your spirit. Art for the others. Riemann proposes partnership. Save the realm across trade. Flaverick hesitates. What's your profit share? Riemann casually offers half, but the reality slips. 80, no, 90%. Flaverick gasps. 90? That's robbery in disguise. Ted hesitates. Art isn't prepared. Flaverick mocks the youthful merchant, calling him shallow. Calmly, Flaverick steps forward, clutching a sealed letter. This holds Art's secrets, he declares, stunning all. Flaverick warns. Exposing this could disgrace the Icefield household. Flaverick narrows his eyes, rattled. Art's lover confirmed it, he insists. Art clenches his fist. My secret, how dare you weaponize that? Flaverick smirks, flaunting the envelope. Is this evil? He mocks. Then he gasps, noticing the seal, the first letter. He rips it open. Shock floods his expression. This letter is genuine. Flavrik reads in disbelief. He had attempted to corner Art employing secrets, bargaining to tip negotiations. But the letter reveals reality he not ever expected. Art had ready for this all along. Flavrik trembles, exposed. Lies, this can't be. He protests, but Riemann silences him. You attempted to deceive Art, he says coldly. Flavrik bows greatly. I was blinded. By his sorcery, ashamed, Flavrik confesses all things. The chamber quiets, Art watches, reassured. Somehow, he now owns half the man's business. I guess I prevailed. He whispers, dumbfounded. The deal is sealed. Art silently acknowledges the reality. If she were alive, I'd yet feel sorrowful. Riemann and Flavrik are taken aback. Art's empathy moves them greatly, challenging how they see forgiveness. Art softly holds Flavrik's hands. Being forgiven saves others, he says. Flavrik bows in shame. The scene ends with harmony outside. Soldiers learn about a letter that shifted all things. Preparing to leave the capital, Art reassures, I'll return soon. But as he walks away, a knock interrupts. He reads the handwriting. This lady, how does she know my secret? Art remained quietly at the door, his back straight, cloak swaying softly. Someone unsealed the door, eyes wide. It has been Aya's Lady Wenty, Art stated gently, his tone trembling with memory. Wenty stared in disbelief, lips parting. Art? She murmured. He agreed once, they remained yet. The burden of their history between them. Without a word, she stepped aside and let him in. How did you find this location? She questioned, her tone guarded. Flavrik told me. It was you, right? Art questioned about the letters. I don't know, she responded, hiding her sorrow. Wenty's tone stood in rage. You wrecked all things, my household fell, my father's in prison. Art remained quiet, you caused it all. She yelled, shaking with rage, sorrow etched throughout her face. Art pivoted away, shoulders weighty, yet Wenty stepped forward. Don't you know what you did to me? She questioned, tone softer. He paused, unsure, her eyes packed with tears. Do you? She uncovered the reality. 5 gold coins, gone lacking a trace. You took it, didn't you? She questioned. Art paused, shocked. I didn't. Words failed him as guilt and doubt hit. Art gazed at the dress he'd sewn, recollections flashing back. You maintained it, he murmured. Wenty's look softened, yet she pivoted away. Just go, she stated. You were part of my history. I'm just pleased you're alive, Art grinned softly. I've not ever hated you. He provided a sealed letter. Her eyes widened. This letter. It proves all things. I'm not your foe, Wenty. She read it swiftly. Orders targeting Art masked beyond a mission. Only I understood this, she stated silently. And parts of it are lies, aren't they? Her gaze fixed with his. Wavering, Art tugged back his collar. This scar, not a slave mark. It's a burn from childhood. Wenty gasped, remembering. He strode history her softly. I not ever forgot any of it. Yet, he grinned. I was glad that you recalled me. His tone shook. You once stated household means somebody who thinks of you. Wenty's chest tightened, eyes wet with emotion. Our recollections surfaced, youthful Wenty declaring, You're my steward. Serve me well. Now, with tears streaming, she murmured, You're my household. Her spirit eventually spoke, breaking the silence that years had sealed. Wenty hugged Art tightly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Tears poured down her cheeks as regret and guilt overcome her. I wished to say it for so long, forgive me. I was afraid. I leaned on your compassion, she sobbed. Art softly grinned. I just wished to aid you, my precious Lady Wenty. The history was eventually being mended. Collapsing to her knees, Wenty shouted out with all her sorrow. Aha! Her emotions had eventually reached him. Outside, the town remained silent, tranquil, as if honoring the healing of their hearts. Rain poured over the outskirts of Aldred. A maiden in a cloak trudged forward, soaked and weary. No food here either, she murmured. Another dead end in her desperate search. Pushing across the wet undergrowth, she stumbled upon a concealed clearing. Her spirit sank, just mud and broken roots. This location is wrecked too, she muttered. Tightening her hold on her bag, she gazed up. Rain streaking her expression, a shadow shifted close. Drawing her staff cautiously, she stepped forward. Who is there? She summoned, unaware her journey was about to change forever. Within the orphanage, Hugh complained about the rain ruining the garden. Lux attempted to compose him. Sorry. Art reached with Wenty and Flavrik, drawing startled looks and murmurs. Hugh lit up. Art, it's you. Children rushed up, beaming. He was lifted here, Lux murmured. Art agreed humbly. I just halted by. We delivered donations from the association.
Lux glanced about. Where's Urk? Not well, sleeping. He climbed the stairs silently. At the door, he paused. Inside, Urk gazed pale. You came, she whispered. He agreed gently. Art apologized for worrying her. Urk, from her window, murmured. Even when I cry, you're constantly there. He clenched his fist. I'm your steward. I came to guard you. Art clarified they couldn't bring Urk out publicly yet. Lux presented the merchant Lavik and Art's former mistress. Wenty. The mood changed as age relationships resurfaced and tension stirred. Wenty paused, nearly turning away. Lux welcomed her warmly. No, I'm not here for that. Wenty answered, eyes downcast. I just wish to meet the one who shifted Art. Wenty faced them all, tone steady. This is my atonement. I'll spend my life making amends. Art observed, remembering her history betrayal. Lux, Hugh, and Thea watched quietly, expressions unreadable. Lux announced Wenty and Flaverick as sinners, yet provided redemption. Sin cannot be erased, she stated, yet we can start by purifying the form. Let's eat. Everyone blinked in surprise. At the hot springs, strain faded into laughter. Feeling better? Art questioned. Wenty agreed. A bit. Steam stood softly as burdens raised, if solely for a moment of peace. As all enjoyed snacks, Lux questioned if there was anything departed. Art provided the final of the rice flour. Wenty grinned at his efforts, touched by the simple instant. Art displayed them how to roast mochi, flipping it skillfully with a stick. Hugh lay close, stuffed and satisfied. Kids are yet growing, he laughed. Let 'em eat it all. Inspired, the youngsters wished to join. Even Urk gazed, curious. Wenty paused, uncertain. The kids cheered, calling her over. She flushed, then remained, gradually stepping forward to join them. Art extends a hand towards Wenty, smiling. Let's do it side by side, he says. She freezes, wide-eyed. Her spirit stirs. Was this what she had been searching for all along? Eyes sparkling, Wenty runs forward. I'm coming, she shouts, joining the others. Everyone is laughing, assembled about the flame. For the first moment, she genuinely feels like she belongs. The mochi is prepared, gentle, steaming, and sweet. Hugh and the kids dig in, praising the chewy treat. Wenty laughs, overcome by compassion. Even the elder can't resist additional bites. Wenty devoured the mochi, overcome by its warmth. So good, she muttered, tears mixing with laughter. Art patted her back. Eat additional. Wenty, you're safe here now. Her spirit softened. She remembered the days of hunger, thinking she'd not ever taste Art's cooking once more. I considered I'd misplaced this forever, she murmured, shaking. Flaverick remained close, silently observing her recover. As the group feasted, a maiden in a hood observed quietly, chewing thoughtfully. Her presence unnoticed, she mumbled with stuffed cheeks. Art blinked. Who? A fresh expression had just reached. The hooded maiden stepped forward. She is Rain. Lux presented her. Rain blinked. You've gained burden, she teased. I'm dieting. Lux huffed. Art presented himself, unaware Rain's presence would shift all things. Rain stared at Art, quiet yet curious. Lux leaned in. She can sense sorcery. Art agreed, sensing strength. Rain frowned, still shallow. She sensed a thing vast concealed within him, unknown. Deep under Art's composed exterior, Rain glimpsed the abyss, vast as the ocean. Rain's sorcery, somebody gasped. She's a Rain mage. Flaverick blinked, shocked. Rain's eyes narrowed. There's additional to you too. Rain's identity stunned them. Rain mage, murmured Lux. Legends talked of her unmatched strength. Yet Art spotted, despite the titles, her gaze sought sweets additional than glory. She's just Rain. Youngsters tugged at Rain's hood. Play with us. She flailed, vanishing into chaos. Lux sighed. She's constantly like this. Art chuckled. Shuld. We stopped them. Let it be, Lux answered. The church bell rang. Help, echoed faintly. Art pivoted to Rain. What brings you here? A beast, she stated. I was tracking it. Art frowned. You are hiding a thing, aren't you? A shadowy force rooted deep in the woodland awakens, the tree demon of annihilation. An ominous glow pulses under twisted branches. It's ancient, feared, and dangerously close to revival at the association. Mention of the demon sparks confusion. Rain scolds Art, annoyed they've overlooked history threats. Fools, she yells. Every own just moves on. But doubt yet lingers. In the woodland, an aged scout discovers a thing frightening. I remember now, he whispers. Nestled in dirt, a monstrous seed stirs. The seed of annihilation. A fresh danger is growing. The capital of Yukewood trembled as the heavens divided open. A colossal tree erupted from the earth, sending shockwaves throughout the territory. Panic scattered. Evacuation orders were issued instantly. Amid the chaos, Art and the others reached the woodland edge. The mood was tense, sunlight filtering across thick leaves. Rumors of the tree demon scattered. They ready for conflict. Rain groaned in sorrow. Art remained intent. "Thanks, Rain," he muttered. They regrouped with companions. "Anyon eaten?" he questioned. "Barely," Urk answered. The earth stirred. They weren't alone anymore. Art confirmed Rain's condition. She agreed, steadying herself. Peters and Marcos discussed the danger. The odd vegetation wasn't natural. They suspected parasitic sorcery altering the territory. A demon seed was involved. An ancient entity, the tree demon, had plagued the mainland for centuries. Rain clenched her fists. This was the beast she'd hunted for 436 years. Her personal grudge burned radiant. "Look," Art stated, pointing. An enormous seed lay embedded in roots. It stretched in one direction, they deduced. This pattern wasn't random. The seed was guiding all growth somewhere intentional. Frey speculated this woodland was the tree demon's root domain. Marcos mentioned strange reports. Explorers came back puzzled, recollection gaps common. Art quietly heard. Grasping how deep the corruption genuinely rushed, Frey theorized the tree demon lacked conquest motives. "It's not targeting us intentionally?" Art questioned. Art felt harmony was possible if no one battled. Maybe it could end lacking conflict. Rain, unswayed, maintained, "Mercy won't save others." She provided Art a armament. "Monsters must be ruined, no exception." Urk sighed. "He's hopeless," she stated. Frey added, "He'll not ever compromise with evil." A thick fog started to scatter. Marcos cautioned all not to stray. Art felt a thing wrong. This is the tree demon's doing. The fog dulled their senses. "Stay close." Art yelled for Urk. She drifted away, dazed. Frey teased him as Rain cried, "Snap out of it." Suddenly, Urk cast an enchantment. A blast of liquid hit violently. Art froze. The being before them wasn't Urk. Her eyes were hollow. Bark twisted along her skin. "It's the tree demon," she muttered coldly. They understood. Urk was being possessed. "Urk!" Art summoned. Yet the being pivoted hostile. She'd been severed from them. Fully possessed, vines lashed out. "Prepare yourselves," Rain yelled. They faced a beast wearing Urk's expression. Frey smiled, amused. "Impressive ambush," he muttered. From the mist, a spider-like demon emerged. "Well, saves us the trouble of finding it." Art readied his sword. "It's a beast," the demon youngster chanted. Frey spotted a thing on her head. "Ready," Art stated. An enormous assault obliterated the area. Frey smirked. "Didn't even need my turn." As expected, Rain. Art battled intensely. Stopping that argument was the right call, he considered. His eyes fixed on the spider's head. That's the tree demon seed. The enemy's intent grew plain, he spotted. The monsters weren't attacking fiercely. They were stalling. "This won't end," he muttered. With determination, he retreated. "I need to find Urk. This isn't the genuine conflict yet." Across the fog, Art emerged into a concealed grove. An enormous ancient tree towered over him. Did they get away safely? He questioned, then he gasped. "What is this location?" A deep, rumbling tone echoed about Art. "Intruder, human youngster." The enormous tree stirred. Art remained firm, staring upward. "It's talking." He murmured. The S-rank tree demon had awakened. "You trespass, pay with death." The demon growled. Its limbs creaked as it shifted. Art's spirit pounded. "It's intelligent," he understood. "This thing isn't just wild. It understands us." Art jumped back as roots slammed down. "This is bad," he muttered. "Our attacks can't even scratch it." The tree demon loomed. "No way about it. This is conflict." Art gripped his stance. The tree demon froze. "You're not trying to kill us, are you?" He questioned steadily. The beast paused. Art felt no intent to harm. "You've controlled monsters," Art proceeded, "yet not to kill. Isn't that odd?" The tree demon stayed quiet. Art pushed on. "I'm Art. I came to negotiate harmony directly. I ask you to withdraw from this mainland," Art announced. The tree demon hovered over, considering. The woodland went silent. Art's gaze hardened. "Will you answer me?" Art remained before the enormous tree demon. "Withdraw from this mainland," he asked. Calm and steadfast, he announced harmony was possible. He addressed the being not as an enemy, yet equal. "I notice your restraint. You understand language. Choose not to kill." Art stated, "That's why I came to negotiate." The tree demon stirred, its limbs twitching. Tension stood with stillness. "You can't joke with lives," Art stated. "I won't lose." The tree trembled. "Resistance, death, judgment." It growled.
Light surged. Art braced himself, understanding the demon might not accept his plea. Art grinned steadily. Negotiation was to my decision. He vowed better solutions lacking violence. We won't force you, he stated. The tree demon heard, its eyes intent. Interesting, it muttered. Art questioned, what's your goal? He clarified that tranquil coexistence was possible. Let's avoid unnecessary bloodshed, he encouraged. The tree demon paused. You seek balance. It echoed Art's sense faith. The tree demon talked. We escaped extinction, migrated here. Art gazed puzzled. Migration. The being clarified its species fled collapse, seeking a stable realm. This mainland is our last faith. Art grasped now. The tree demon came to ensure its kind's survival. You seek territory, he stated, but cities, others, they're not obstacles. He begged it to reconsider expansion by force. The tree demon talked. Humans invade, slaughter, we guard. Art stepped forward. Even if we've wronged you, he stated, hatred won't solve anything. His recollections of sorrow resurfaced quietly. Art proceeded. We all make mistakes, but we can yet reach understanding. He yelled. Fighting forever solves none. The tree demon heard quietly. Do you genuinely believe this path exists? Art pleaded. Let's seek coexistence. The tree demon roared, calling him a fool. You'd risk your species? Art answered, if we don't try, we lose all things anyway. He remained firm. The tree launched an assault. Art stopped it, hardly gripping earth. Don't make me draw my sword, he stated. Next moment, I won't hold back. Silence trailed. Thick with strain, Art knelt, exhausted. If you can be rescued, that's sufficient for me. The tree demon gradually extended a root. For the first moment, it reached forward not to strike, yet to listen. If trust must be proven, Art stated, then plant your seed in me. His eyes didn't waver. I'll mediate. The tree demon paused, sensing sincerity deeper than terror. Elsewhere, Frey wandered the mist. Where'd you go, small cat? He summoned. Rain, possessed and quiet, whispered, soon. A recollection stirred. 436 years ago in a faraway elven forest, youthful Rain questioned her parents, why live concealed in the human lands. They responded gently, it's safer here. The beyond is deadly, especially for shadowy elves like us. Rain's father scolded her. You can't live among wild races. He summoned humans inferior. Unworthy, Rain paused. She had seen compassion. But her parents' terror of corruption ruled the household. Rain's mother comforted her softly. Let's give thanks side by side tomorrow. Rain grinned faintly. Even in strict belief, there was warmth. Amen, she murmured. For now, that was sufficient for her. In the tranquil woods, Rain felt a thing. Her eyes widened. Monsters, her parents panicked. Run, they shouted. Rain remained frozen. Her silent realm was about to shatter in flame and terror. Rain observed in horror. Her parents were slain. Blood coated the trees. Her sister held her tightly. We'll escape, she murmured, but Rain's spirit was consumed by one word. Vengeance smoke stood beyond them. Rain stared back, shaking. I won't forgive them, she murmured. A ally reached out. Let's go, Rain. Slowly they strode away. Toward survival, not harmony. They strode endlessly, chasing a tomorrow. Rain vowed, destroy all monsters. She trained, battled, and studied sorcery. Not for strength, yet to not ever feel helpless once more. Her path was carved in loss. Rain strode across a desperate town. Rain. Monsters took the peaks. Villagers shouted. She heard quietly, haunted by recollections. I won't let others suffer like I did, she murmured. She unleashed her strength. And severe wave of sorcery, the word beast echoed in her thoughts. She repeated it like a mantra. Her identity was forged in the act of destruction. Rain, maybe you should rest. Sister Luck stated. She didn't respond. We must kill additional monsters, she murmured. Only then can all be glad. Her smile hid a breaking soul. Rain stared coldly at the ancient tree. Kill them all, she murmured. Leave none beyond. Her eyes were hollow, tone steady, her history burned within. She would show no mercy.
Art remained steadily as the tree demon loomed over. You understand our position? It questioned. Art agreed. We proceed to negotiation. But the tree demon rejected. Conclusion drawn, compromise refused. Art considered taking hostages won't assistance. The demon snarled, you are weaker than before. It called Art the destroyer of its kin. Art's eyes narrowed. That mage, could it be? The tree demon stirred violently. Rain seemed midair, casting a barrier. Move, Art, she ordered. I'll kill it. Art protested, yet Rain's eyes were chilly. It's solely a beast. Art stepped forward. Listen to me, he stated. Rain glared. So what if it didn't assault? She answered. Monsters must be killed. Her sorcery surged. She rejected to back down. Art dodged the pressure. They just want a location to live. He yelled, why battle? Rain insisted. Why do you go this far to guard them? He didn't hesitate, because it's right. Rain trembled. The tree demon burned the woodland and killed my parents. She stated. Art gazed on quiet. Her tone split. You're next, Art. Her grief had not ever healed. Art talked strongly. This realm was made on conflict, yet we can change that. Rain snapped. Shut up. Her sword cracked the ground. The tree demon observed, lacking interference. Rain remembered the long search. You eventually cornered the tree demon, she stated. As the woodland stirred, the demon started a ritual. The heavens shifted. Something vast was awakening. The tree demon stood. Art and Rain remained, yet shocked. What is this? Rain gasped. Its roots quaked violently from afar. Frey yelled. Is that an earthquake? The earth trembled. The fog raised. Massive waves of energy scattered outward. Frey and the others braced themselves. Everyone from House Isfiel, retreat now, he ordered. The woodland started to quake and breathe. An enormous crater expanded. Shock rippled across the group. What is that thing? One muttered. A monstrous core pulsed at the center. The tree demon had fully awakened. Rain soared into the atmosphere, liquid swirling about her. The others observed in awe. She's heading straight for the core, Art muttered. Her sorcery rippled. The tree demon reacted. The branches twisted defensively. Rain's sorcery smashed across. She channeled all things into a single strike. That strength. Somebody stated. She's breaking across the domain itself. The battlefield trembled beneath her. Rain shut in. An enormous vortex created as liquid spiraled about the core. She murmured, royal water, and unleashed her enchantment. The heavens darkened. The atmosphere froze in stillness. Rain's enchantment hit the tree demon's form, forcing it backward. Water tore across the bark. The demon roared, baring its fangs. The woodland shook from the enormous force. Rain stayed suspended midair. Intent, her enchantment intensified, carving across the core. The heavens split with energy. The field lit up, but abruptly the demon surged forward with violent resistance. Rain staggered. She's being pressed back, Art shouted. He dashed forward. I have to assistance her. Rain's vision blurred as the pressure mounted. Art summoned her name, Rain. Desperately, Rain unleashed a last torrent. Water burst across the tree demon's defenses, slicing deep into its bark. She exhaled gradually, eyes narrowing. It ends now, she murmured to herself. The tree demon recoiled violently. Its enormous form fell backward, trembling the land. Cracks scattered. The skies swirled. From over, Rain hovered quietly, observing her sorcery spiral down. The swirling storm tightened. Rain raised her hand. Fall, she commanded. The enchantment compressed into a cyclone of liquid aimed straight for the core. The woodland gripped its breath. Rain unleashed her ultimate enchantment, True Descent Waterfall. A colossal torrent crashed down from the heavens. The field was drowned in glow and force. The realm observed as all things shook. Art shielded his eyes. Is this really Rain's strength? He considered. The blast was severe. The tree demon trembled. Even it couldn't absorb the full burden of the assault. Rain descended across the mist, quiet and intent. That is the world's strongest mage, Art murmured. But the tree demon yet remained. Its form split, yet its will had not broken. Rain floated amid dropping droplets, her enchantment eventually complete. What a sorrow, she whispered. Light broke across the clouds between humans and demons. A fragile stillness stayed. For now,
An enormous slime pulsed with shadowy energy. Art stepped back, alarmed. What is that? He gasped. Rain observed quietly, her look composed. That's no ordinary creature, she muttered. The being exploded into a brilliant void of stars, even concealed. Its demonic aura is too fierce, Rain clarified. She lifted her hand, composed yet intent, channeling quiet magic. Rain murmured, Danza no Amy. A cosmic rain descended, white streaks slicing the void. Art observed, awe hit. As judgment dropped from the heavens, silencing the monstrous force in an instant, Rain's assault rained down mercilessly. Art observed in awe. Each shard gripped immense strength. She's blinded by rage, he understood. I have to stop her before it's too late. Yerk yelled for Art amid the chaos. She unleashed her enchantment, Ice Blossom, freezing incoming shards mid-atmosphere. Her desperation became, Where are you, Art? Please be safe. Art reappeared beside Urk, alive yet breathless. Frey hurried in alarmed. That was Rain's misplaced sorcery.
and Art was in the middle of it. Hurry, we have no moment. Rain soared upward, her eyes scanning. Please be safe, Art, she murmured. She pierced the heavens with a burst of sorcery, resolved to locate the source of the chaos. Spinning energy surged as she screamed, "Stop hiding, demon!" Her strength collided with a shadowy barrier. 3 beasts emerged from the vortex. Rain remained firm, refusing to back down. With fierce focus, Rain fixed eyes on the distorted horizon, a flicker of movement. There. Her gaze sharpened, the swirling mass split, and within it, Art's presence was unmistakable. Rain reached as Art smashed the magical trap. "You're pushing yourself once more," she cautioned. Art clenched his fists. "I won't let this curse control me. I must end this." Rain's tone softened. "You're poisoned, Art, by your own need to guard all." He pivoted, conflicted. "Even so, I choose this path. I just want harmony, no additional lies." Art lunged forward, casting a desperate enchantment. Rain's eyes widened. He's employing binding sorcery. A glowing sigil created instant paralysis, he murmured. The demon recoiled, caught in Art's trap. Rain dodged Art's paralyzing enchantment with ease. "If I were others else, that would have worked," she stated steadily. Art clenched his fists. "Old blood sorcery, she's employing restriction spells." Rain clarified her grim strength, blood-fed sorcery with fatal cost. "Use it, and I risk death," she stated. "But demons must be eradicated. Mercy is selfishness disguised as compassion." Art remained firm. "Even if it costs my life, I'll guard with compassion. That's my determination." Urk shouted out, "Art, protect all." His spirit burned. His decision eventually clear. Rain descended like lightning, solely to halt an abomination remained between them. Art gasped, "A mimic." Her expression twisted in horror. "That's the tree demon of annihilation." The grotesque being talked with mimicry, echoing misplaced voices. "We exist to eliminate the unnecessary." Art trembled. Rain whispered, "It's sentient, and it knows us." The atmosphere pivoted, weighty. Rain's fury ignited. "Why does that thing survive as so numerous?" "Don't," her hand shook. "I didn't want this battle." But the demon advanced, unbothered. "Survival is not earned." Art pleaded with Rain. "You battle for harmony, yet isn't it too because you've lost so much?" Her eyes widened. His remarks pierced deeper than any wound. Rain's recollections flooded in. Comrades misplaced. Battles, battled, graves departed behind. A cloaked person had once questioned, "How long will you battle?" She had no answer. Only sorrow stayed. Art reached out, tone shaking. "You don't have to battle anymore." Rain's sword wavered. "It's too late," she murmured. "Then stop me," Art stated. "Rain." Her name echoed. Rain remained encircled by sorcery sigils. "Kill me," she murmured. Art's eyes widened. The tree demon loomed. "All unfit must perish." The ritual had begun. No moment stayed. Urk steadied Art. "You stated you'd come back, remember?" Art agreed. "I'll return no matter what." He pivoted, blade drawn. "Even if I have to defy fate itself." Art marched into the storm. I vowed. I'd guard her from anything. Roots clawed the heavens. He invoked body enhancement as summoning judgment water. The field trembled with determination. An enormous sphere of energy engulfed the field, its force bending heavens and earth. Justice clashed with justice, each will colliding. Within, Art remained firm, his vow echoing across destruction. The clash exploded into a swirling void. Trees bent, the earth divided. Art and Rain observed tensely. "The force is collapsing," Art muttered. The being remained at the center. Unmoving, the vortex faded into gloom. An odd silhouette pulsed in the heavens. Writhing, Rain murmured, "What is that?" The woodland dropped into stillness. Eyes searched the heavens. Energy dispersed. "The air's gone yet." Rain watched. The demon stared up. Quiet. Art scowled. What happened to the tree demon? As the shadow writhed over, no one talked once more. The heavens twisted violently. A black core pulsed over the woodland. Birthing shadowy tendrils, lightning fractured the heavens. Art narrowed his eyes. That thing's energy is distorting reality itself. Winds howled as demonic roots hit down. The vortex spun faster. Art braced himself, shouting, "Everyone get back!" From within the storm, winged shadows emerged. Beasts raised from the void. Rain and Art observed in horror. "This force. It's apocalyptic." Rain murmured. Art's expression hardened. "This world's about to be undone." Rain questioned, shaking. "Can we even stop it?" The tree demon surged skyward, limbs expanding. "What's it doing?" Art yelled. Rain stared. "It's speaking. Mimicking us."
The being echoed twisted remarks. Hope is conflict, reset required. Tension spiked instantly. Rain launched an assault, eyes burning. This illusion. I'll destroy it. Art gasped. Rain, wait. The beast projected phantoms of the history. Doubts crept in. Is this genuine? She questioned. Art halted Rain. It's not a trick, it is our blame, he shouted. The demon attempted to assistance. Rain rejected. Lies, no demon saves humans. The earth split as reality unraveled. Rain froze as the tree demon changed form, a fresh structure. Art muttered. Rain's glare intensified. The demon echoed once more, human intent. Unnecessary. Its presence became, warping the woodland itself. Rain stepped forward. You want to erase us? She stated silently. The demon's speed surged too fast to follow. Even cause-effect sorcery can't track it, Frey stated. Gritting his teeth, Rain lifted her sword. Call me a villain. I'll bear it if it means erasing evil. Art clenched his fist. Number, you're not evil. You're the kindest among us. Rain lowered her gaze. I just want to guard the others I care about. Art stepped forward. Then I'll battle too. They remained united, driven by the same determination. As Rain recalled their village, gentle recollections flickered, smiles, welcomes, and a location to return to. Rain, the sister murmured. No matter where you go, come back. Rain's hold tightened. Art sliced towards the demon, roaring. The tree twisted fiercely. Rain lifted her hand, magic water. A surge erupted, and the earth itself pulsed with severe force. Rain's sorcery clashed directly with the demon's trunk, flooding the field. Rain! Art yelled. She remained firm. I want a realm where we can guard lacking killing, she stated. The demon reeled as Art amplified his strength. The magic's working. He gasped. Roots trembled, flaring fiercely. The distortion's too powerful, Rain cautioned. This world's balance is breaking apart. The tree demon convulsed, twisting into a chaotic form. Rain flew in. Undeterred, that's not just a demon, she murmured. Art's eyes widened. You're the tree demon. The tree demon's tone thundered. A realm lacking conflict, unattainable. Rain's spirit wavered. It was trying to understand us? Art stepped in. This territory can be reborn for both sides. The tree demon paused. You offer coexistence? Art stepped forward. Together. We can heal the territory. The demon trembled. Then this territory is human territory. It roared, launching skyward. Rain lifted her arms. No additional destruction. Magic surged. Art and Frey observed her, resolute, steadfast as the blast approached. Rain remained firm. If we fail now, there'll be no tomorrow. Art unleashed his last strike, Zeta Ichimonji. The tree demon took the blow, cracking apart. Energy smashed the heavens. Silence trailed. He remained alone as the storm faded into composed, debris dropped gently. Art observed glow pierce across clouds. He bent down and picked up a broken shard of the tree demon. It pulsed faintly as if yet alive. Rain approached. The demon's final remarks echoed. A realm lacking war may exist. Art agreed. Emotion in his eyes, Rain murmured. Maybe we really can create a realm worth saving. Art planted his blade into the earth, breath shaking. He stared ahead, tears forming. A single flower bloomed by his feet. This bond. Urk stepped from the shower, exhaustion softening her look. Steam clung to her skin as she dressed in stillness. Servants ready her gown. Today was not rest. It was responsibility. Urk stepped the hall in full dress. Frey teased. Then Art questioned about her condition. She grinned slightly. I'm fine. The strain faded as warmth came back. Outside, odd transport rumbled forward. They reached at the field where odd cargo had been arranged. This is the relic, Art muttered. Urk observed silently. If you trust it, I will too. From the transport, a grand feast seemed. Food. Urk's eyes widened. Princess Recha. Art blinked in disbelief. Guess we'll speak harmony. Over a banquet, he muttered. Rain simply sighed. Rain silently came back, her look weighty. I've been handling matters in the capital, she clarified. The royal startled, stepped closer. Rain. Before additional could be stated, a quiet hug trailed. Rain eventually let herself lean into Lux's embrace. I was concerned, Lux murmured. Thank you for coming back. Around them, all observed quietly, emotion voiced in stillness. Rain bowed greatly. I'm sorry, all Urk, Art, I caused you trouble. They grinned softly. We're just pleased you're safe, Art answered.
The strain gradually faded as Rain rejoined them. Urk approached Rain softly. "I've listened to your story. You've endured much." Rain lowered her head. "Just for today, enjoy yourself," she was told. Meanwhile, Art spotted a thing strange. From under a closed table, a tiny wooden being peeked out. "The tree demon?" Art gasped. Frey intervened. "Wait, let it speak." The being appeared, puzzled, not hostile. The being talked in broken phrases, recounting a fragmented recollection. "Buried. Woke up. This territory." Rain heard closely. "It's not attacking," she whispered. "Is it? Trying to find residents?" Strain faded. "Let's speak later," Urk proposed. Rain offered a silent nod. Art raised a cup. "To everyone's hard work." Smiles came back. Even the tree demons sat silently close. They all assembled about the grill plates packed swiftly with hot, savory dishes. "Today we feast," Art announced. Worries were placed aside, if solely for this brief instant. Laughter echoed under plain skies. For the first moment as even Rain permitted herself to enjoy the warmth. Urk ate heartily meat, bread, and harmony voiced in stillness. Art blinked in shock. "You're giving me the entire mine." Princess Rechi agreed. "It's been decided since my coronation." Art paused. "I'm not sure I want that responsibility." Speak pivoted to the tree demon. "Let it live there." Lux questioned. "It might be the best guardian," Rain stated silently. "But what about the land's safety?" Somebody questioned. Rain voiced her concern. "Demons and territory. They don't constantly coexist." Art approached softly. "I understand your fears, but trust me, this moment will do it right. Please, believe in us." Art grinned steadily. "I'll keep trying so all can live warmly." Rain observed him carefully, silent. Lux glanced about. Faith was growing even among those who once doubted harmony. The tree demon questioned to represent its caring. "We seek tranquil exchange," it announced. "Paperwork will take 10 days, the clerk noted. Recha lifted her cup. "Let's make history." Rain pivoted away with a slight smile. "Art, you might just save additional others than I ever could." The others agreed. Side by side, they chose a tomorrow once considered impossible. Rain gazed towards the heavens. "I'll believe," she murmured. Art glanced over. "Did you say a thing?" She grinned faintly and pivoted away. "Number." But within, she had already decided. "I'll live in this estate," Rain announced, shocking all. "I'll guard Art, and all who stay here." The group reacted with disbelief, yet Rain stayed composed. Her thoughts made up, Rain stepped close to Art, clutching his sleeve softly. "I won't leave you," she stated gently. Art froze, blushing. Around them, laughter, confusion, and silent approval packed the atmosphere. Alto lay collapsed across his bed after pushing himself too hard once again, having taken emergency medicine that clearly did more damage than intended, while he quietly wondered whether Uruk and the rest of the household were managing fine without him, even as his own body betrayed the toll of constant overwork. Uruk entered his room the moment he stirred awake, cheerfully instructing him to infuse a strange object with magic, and though Alto stared at it in complete confusion, he obeyed her request and channeled his power into the item, unaware of what such a simple action would soon set into motion. The object trembled violently before transforming into a small, animated version of Alto himself, flailing its arms and wobbling around the room, leaving both Uruk and Alto stunned as the tiny figure moved on its own, behaving exactly like a living doll crafted in his exact likeness. Uruk explained that the strange item was a magical tool known as the reflective doll, revealing that once infused with a person's magic, it would become a puppet fully under their control, which meant Alto had unknowingly created a miniature version of himself capable of independent movement and expression. She continued describing its deeper nature, explaining that the doll essentially granted its creator's deepest desires in physical form, and admitted she had wondered whether something like this could ease the burden Alto constantly placed on himself, since he always pushed his limits without any regard for his own well-being. Uruk grew alarmed upon learning the doll required something called a magical contract, immediately questioning whether such an agreement carried hidden dangers, and asked whether there might be some hidden cost or sacrifice tied to using it, since magic capable of granting wishes rarely came without consequence in this world. Alto explained that such contracts were once considered taboo long ago, since even the smallest amount of magical power used to be enough to form grand agreements involving fate and phenomena, though those times had long since passed and modern magic no longer carried the same overwhelming weight it once held centuries earlier. He revealed that any contract allowing interference with the world's phenomena, whether related to life or curses, always demanded a steep price, admitting that his own magic, the very power responsible for the downfall of an entire nation,
still carried traces of a magical contract buried deep within its foundation. Uruk asked whether this doll differed from Alto's terrifying tree of annihilation. Alto lay collapsed across his bed after pushing himself too hard once again, having taken emergency medicine that clearly did more damage than intended, while he quietly wondered whether Uruk and the rest of the household were managing fine without him, even as his own body betrayed the toll of constant overwork. Uruk entered his room the moment he stirred awake, cheerfully instructing him to infuse a strange object with magic, and though Alto stared at it in complete confusion, he obeyed her request and channeled his power into the item, unaware of what such a simple action would soon set into motion. The object trembled violently before transforming into a small, animated version of Alto himself, flailing its arms and wobbling around the room, leaving both Uruk and Alto stunned as the tiny figure moved on its own, behaving exactly like a living doll crafted in his exact likeness. Uruk explained that the strange item was a magical tool known as the reflective doll, revealing that once infused with a person's magic, it would become a puppet fully under their control, which meant Alto had unknowingly created a miniature version of himself capable of independent movement and expression. She continued describing its deeper nature, explaining that the doll essentially granted its creator's deepest desires in physical form, and admitted she had wondered whether something like this could ease the burden Alto constantly placed on himself, since he always pushed his limits without any regard for his own well-being. Uruk grew alarmed upon learning the doll required something called a magical contract, immediately questioning whether such an agreement carried hidden dangers, and asked whether there might be some hidden cost or sacrifice tied to using it, since magic capable of granting wishes rarely came without consequence in this world. Alto explained that such contracts were once considered taboo long ago, since even the smallest amount of magical power used to be enough to form grand agreements involving fate and phenomena, though those times had long since passed and modern magic no longer carried the same overwhelming weight it once held centuries earlier. He revealed that any contract allowing interference with the world's phenomena, whether related to life or curses, always demanded a steep price, admitting that his own magic, the very power responsible for the downfall of an entire nation, still carried traces of a magical contract buried deep within its foundation. Uruk asked whether this doll differed from Alto's terrifying tree of annihilation, and he clarified that this version had been safely and simply enhanced for everyday use, though he noted that under normal circumstances, contracts could never be formed with living beings or monsters, making this creation somewhat unusual by comparison. Free, curious about the process, asked whether he could try creating one too, prompting Uruk to remark that everything ultimately came down to trust, since Alto had chosen to place his faith entirely in her, and she admitted she would have preferred an equal exchange even if the doll resembled a monster. Determined to test it herself, Uruk declared that nothing ventured meant nothing gained, insisting on going through with the attempt right away while nearby. Frey pointed out that regular people also possessed magical power of their own, meaning the process remained entirely doable for someone without specialized training or experience. Panic spread through the room the moment Uruk's doll began forming, with Alto anxiously questioning what was happening until Frey quickly clarified that the object was simply meant to become Alto's doll, not anything alarming or dangerous, easing the sudden tension that had briefly gripped everyone standing inside that crowded room. Uruk stared at the small figure with overwhelming affection, admitting she wanted to cherish it forever, since holding the tiny doll made her feel as though the real Alto had somehow drawn closer to her heart, leaving him visibly flustered and unsure how to respond to her sudden burst of emotion. Her happiness quickly escalated into something far more intense as she embraced the doll while repeating over and over that this was her big brother, startling everyone present, including Alto himself, who could only watch nervously as Uruk's emotional reaction spiraled completely out of control within mere seconds of holding it. Free, visibly annoyed by how the situation had turned, asked why everyone had suddenly begun acting so high and mighty, while another voice suggested that since they had already gone this far, the rest of them might as well give the magical contract a try themselves without any further hesitation. The scene shifted into playful chaos as someone accused Alto of secretly favoring strength, since being welcomed into the Marquise's household implied he admired powerful individuals, and Alto responded confidently by declaring himself the best, sparking a light-hearted argument about whether Uruk actually harbored a crush on him. The mood turned emotional once again as Alto proudly proclaimed himself the loyal Butler, while Uruk stood as his master, causing her to stumble over her words in visible embarrassment, unable to properly answer when directly asked to reveal her true feelings toward him in front of everyone watching closely. Uruk declared she intended to keep Alto entirely to herself and warned everyone to watch closely, right before Princess Leia unexpectedly appeared before the group, commanding everyone to hold on for a moment, catching Alto completely off guard as the entire household scrambled to understand her sudden royal interruption. An elderly man insisted he could never refuse the request of a princess, only for Uruk to angrily confront him, accusing him of shamelessly barging in and attempting to steal her husband away, calling his behavior utterly disrespectful. While Alto stood frozen, wondering exactly where this chaotic man had come from. The chaos reached its peak as Uruk shouted that Alto belonged to her as his master, insisting he was solely interested in strong women exactly like herself, while declaring loudly that he was destined to become her husband, leaving Leia startled and letting out a frightened cry at the sudden outburst. Alto stood frozen with his hair swirling in visible distress after his doll suddenly caused chaos, prompting Frey to ask what exactly had gone wrong, while Alto insisted he would simply buy a replacement, though the surrounding nobles quickly realized his magic infusion had made the doll smash an expensive pot completely by accident. An elderly nobleman glared sharply at the scene, demanding to know what exactly was happening in his household, his stern expression making it clear he had little patience for the sudden commotion, while his booming voice echoed through the hallway, startling everyone nearby, including the maid who could only let out a helpless scream. Uruk pleaded desperately for calm as the chaos continued escalating around her, watching in horror as feathers exploded everywhere across the room, while the old man shouted in disbelief that Lord Raymond's precious bed had just been destroyed, leaving everyone scrambling to understand how such a minor magical mistake had spiraled this far. Uruk tried to steady everyone by asking if they were all okay and suggesting they simply move on from the disaster. But Frey cried out dramatically that he was certainly going to be killed for this, apologizing repeatedly and frantically, while another voice worried aloud about what their older brother must be thinking through all of it. Uruk stood amid the wreckage with a serious expression, realizing aloud that those without a natural gift for magic apparently lost control the moment they attempted to wield such power themselves. Watching the shattered curtains and scattered debris around her as proof that this well-intentioned experiment had gone horribly, irreversibly wrong for everyone involved, she admitted quietly to herself that she had only wanted to help Alto carry his burden. Yet the entire plan had backfired spectacularly instead of easing anything. Cursing under her breath as she rushed through the corridor, desperately calling out for someone to deactivate the rampaging magic before it caused even more destruction. Frey turned toward Uruk with a pointed expression and asked directly whether she harbored feelings for all. Deep within the mountain, the towering tree demon of annihilation had finally settled into the mines as its new permanent home, marking a strange yet peaceful arrangement, while Alto and Uruk stood beside it, quietly reflecting on how far their unusual companion had come since its first terrifying appearance. The unprecedented bond between humans and monsters had sparked genuine excitement throughout the region, as discussions with the guild concluded that the surrounding area would officially become a farm, carefully managed under their watchful supervision and designated as land inhabited by spirits, paving the way for an upcoming farming exchange event. Alto stood before the remains of a shattered blade lying scattered across the grass, reflecting silently that he now faced one of life's greatest trials, the broken pieces before him symbolizing a challenge far more personal and painful than any physical battle he had previously encountered throughout his journey. Kneeling beside the wreckage with Uruk and Frey watching quietly nearby, Alto explained that the incident had occurred roughly 30 minutes earlier, apologizing sincerely for his own carelessness, while Uruk admitted she could partially guess what must have caused it, though she still wanted to hear the full truth from him directly. Alto revealed that he wanted to fundamentally improve his own magical power, hoping to strengthen his puppet manipulation skills to make them genuinely more useful. And since Rain happened to be present, he eagerly asked for help leveling up his abilities, prompting Uruk to praise his ambition and readily agree. During the intense training session that followed, Rain admitted she had become completely fired up watching Alto charge toward her with such fierce determination, unleashing powerful strikes that shattered rocks and stone barriers around them, proving just how seriously both of them were taking this sudden burst of training. Rain continued pushing herself relentlessly, insisting that holding anything back would fail to truly help Alto grow stronger, while Uruk watched worriedly from the sidelines, gently asking whether she couldn't have gone a little easier on him, concerned about the physical toll such intense training clearly seemed to be taking. Alto knelt on the ground afterward, blaming himself entirely for what had happened, insisting quietly that it was all his fault, while Uruk admitted she had never seen him looking so visibly discouraged before, acknowledging sadly that there simply wasn't a blacksmith available anywhere within their own household to help. Later, Uruk proudly gathered everyone together, dramatically presenting Alto with an enormous collection of masterfully crafted blades, explaining that each sword had been created by renowned artisans from across the entire continent, hoping the extravagant display would help lift his spirits after the earlier disappointment surrounding his broken weapon. She proudly declared that everything had been purchased entirely using her own personal money, addressing him affectionately as darling. Though Frey couldn't help but wonder aloud exactly who had actually paid for such an overwhelming and expensive collection of weaponry now spread out before them across the entire table. Uruk cheerfully asked whether Alto needed anything else at all, prompting Frey to sarcastically question what kind of future wife couldn't properly provide for her husband's needs, sparking a dramatic clash between the two women that Rain could only describe nervously as resembling an actual battlefield unfolding before her eyes. Despite the impressive collection surrounding him, Alto quietly insisted that nothing was truly wrong, though Uruk noticed his hesitation and gently reminded him that they had been together through everything this entire time, encouraging him to open up honestly about whatever still troubled him beneath his calm exterior. Alto finally admitted that his broken sword had allowed him to protect countless people throughout his life, confessing that this particular blade had saved him more times than he could possibly count, and that he genuinely owed his very survival to the weapon now lying shattered and useless before him. Uruk lowered her head in quiet regret, admitting she wished she had been more vigilant about protecting something so clearly important to him, sincerely apologizing for her earlier naivety regarding the sword's true significance, realizing only now how deeply personal and meaningful that particular weapon truly was to Alto. Alto admitted softly that this very sword had rescued him countless times through Alto's own kindness, correcting himself briefly before confessing he felt somewhat pathetic admitting such vulnerability aloud, revealing just how emotionally attached he had become to an object that represented so much of his difficult, dangerous past. He admitted that life without a proper sword would undoubtedly become a hassle moving forward, though Uruk gently reassured him that cherishing what he already had reflected nothing shameful, insisting instead that such attachment was simply a genuine sign of possessing a warm and thoughtful heart underneath everything else. The Marquis suddenly recalled hearing about something called the Cursed Blade, remarking on how dangerously ominous such a name sounded, prompting Uruk to ask urgently whether he actually knew anything about it, to which he admitted seriously that he had personally held the legendary weapon once before. Long ago, Uruk asked hesitantly whether Alto had ever been chosen as a magic blade himself, and he quietly admitted that no, he had never actually been selected for that particular honor, his solemn expression suggesting there remained a much deeper, more complicated history tied to his past that still weighed heavily on him. 30 years earlier, the Marquis had been driven purely by an obsessive desire for greater power, enduring 7 brutal trials required to obtain the legendary magic blade, admitting the experience had been so intense that his spirit had nearly collapsed entirely, yet despite everything he endured, he still couldn't claim it. Reflecting on that painful memory, he admitted that if the blade could genuinely help protect everyone around him, then perhaps pursuing it might still hold some worth, though he firmly insisted he never wanted a weapon capable of causing harm or suffering to anyone under his care. Determined to learn more, the group suggested asking Big Sis, believing the elven lore could reveal everything about the mysterious magic sword, but she immediately shut the idea down, refusing outright, leaving Alto visibly deflated as his hopeful expression quickly faded into quiet disappointment at her firm rejection. She explained that the dark blade had been forged long ago by the ancient elven kin, revealing that during the Great War a certain hero once wielded a cursed sword and triumphed in battle, though she warned that such power was never meant for an ordinary person, let alone any human. According to ancient legend, anyone who wielded the cursed sword would inevitably pay a steep price for the power it granted, since the weapon was said to lead its bearer down a path of darkness regardless of intention, a truth the elves had preserved and passed down through countless generations. Uruk asked seriously whether Alto still wished to grasp such a cursed sword, reminding him that the elves believed it would ultimately bring ruin upon the entire world, insisting that this outcome remained true even if the person wielding it was considered righteous or acted with the noblest intentions imaginable. Alto swallowed hard before declaring firmly that he wanted it regardless of the warnings, startling both Uruk and Frey with his sudden and unexpected resolve, his eyes burning with quiet determination as he made clear that fear of the sword's dark reputation would not deter him from his decision. Uruk acknowledged that the cursed sword was known for driving people to madness and leading them dangerously astray from their true path, admitting that such a perilous weapon carried genuine risk, yet she still listened carefully to Alto's reasoning instead of dismissing his determination outright without proper consideration. Alto admitted he would rather not flaunt his strength through sheer brute force alone, noting that everything ultimately depended on how one chose to wield such power responsibly, while Frey remarked dismissively that such warnings about the cursed blade were likely nothing more than an exaggerated old tale. Still, he acknowledged that a time might eventually come when possessing greater power became genuinely necessary, believing firmly that true strength meant having the ability to solve problems entirely on his own terms, without depending on others whenever circumstances demanded immediate and decisive action from him alone. Alto explained sincerely that he craved strength not for the purpose of fighting others, but specifically to guard the people who mattered most to him, insisting that his desire for power came from a place of protection rather than any ambition for dominance, glory, or personal recognition. He continued explaining that he wanted to make the lives of those he cared about genuinely richer and more fulfilling, wishing to protect the ones he loved most using everything he possessed, while Ura quietly reassured him that she believed she could help support him through such determination. Meanwhile, Frey shared troubling news about suspicious rumors circulating nearby, revealing that the kingdom had specifically requested the presence of both Alto and Uruk, while also mentioning exciting news about an upcoming tournament offering a magic sword as its prestigious grand prize for the eventual winner, fueled entirely by their own personal resolve. The butler and his master prepared to face whatever awaited them together, understanding that the road ahead might bring either hope or despair, yet both remained bound by compassion, quiet desire, and shared curiosity as they moved forward as equals. Standing tall against a swirling, chaotic sky, Uruk called out confidently that she would personally come to pick Alto up, her powerful figure radiating unwavering determination as she prepared to face whatever trials lay ahead, fully committed to supporting him through this next dangerous chapter of their journey together. As a formidable new figure stirred into motion within the unfolding chaos, a solemn voice declared that Alto now stood recognized as the Sage of Ice, marking the beginning of an entirely new stage in his journey, one that promised even greater challenges and revelations still waiting ahead for him. The colossal arena Atlantia drifts across the open water, drawing crowds eager to witness the Demon Sword tournament. Excitement ripples through the stands as spectators wonder whether the fabled ring can live up to the hype surrounding it. Anticipation builds as competitors prepare to claim the coveted Demon Sword. Sparks fly from a warrior's blade nearby while onlookers speculate about the event's origins, learning that the Guild of the Bluestell Empire organized the tournament. Among the crowd, a fighter named Scampe, ranked E-class, draws curious glances. Applause erupts as the first match concludes. The victor turns out to be a young man once expelled from a brutal workplace, now taken in by the feared Ice Princess. His quiet composure contrasts sharply with the chaos of the arena around him. The stadium roars a single name skyward, Benjamin, as the champion lowers his blade. Confetti rains down, marking his decisive victory in dramatic fashion. Chants of his alias continue echoing through the crowd. Nearby, a scruffy-haired man mutters to himself in stunned admiration while a nervous companion admits she's completely captivated by the spectacle unfolding before them. Elsewhere, away from the noise, quiet conversation turns serious. One voice questions whether their mission here is truly meant to stay hidden from prying eyes. The reasoning follows. Keeping information close protects them if circumstances shift unexpectedly. Their kingdom remains largely unnoticed by outside powers, having limited dealings with other nations. Under direct orders from the king himself, both agree to operate under false names for the duration of their assignment. Discussion shifts toward the true danger at stake. The Demon Sword represents extraordinary power, capable of reshaping the world should it land in the wrong hands. One companion voices doubt about whether they're suited for such a heavy responsibility, though his partner insists nothing in this world can ever be considered absolute, least of all their chances here. Aboard a small boat cutting through the water, praise comes from an unexpected direction. Their combined record speaks for itself, having subdued an S-class threat not once but twice proves they're unmatched for a task like this. Back near the venue, a lounging figure brushes off any expectation to compete directly, preferring to skip babysitting duties for the younger fighters. Despite his relaxed posture, he makes clear that trust runs deepest with the person seated beside him. Compliments follow for a job well done, directed at someone named Ulku. Flustered, she urges him to hurry along, only for him to steal a playful kiss, joking that such affection is simply the reward owed to his prince. Concern shifts toward another companion whose face has turned noticeably red. Questions arise about her well-being just as it's revealed that Petus has already slipped away from the group, leaving Alto visibly startled by the sudden observation. Pressed further about what's wrong, she deflects quickly, insisting she only needs a moment to warm up before continuing. Still unconvinced, the exchange ends there as she claims it's truly nothing, heading down toward the first floor to gather herself. Farther along, a different pair bickers over a strange smell. One insists a proper shower was taken not long ago, while a furry companion remains suspicious that something feels off, right as a peculiar object bursts loose without warning. Attention turns to someone who should have remained on standby. She explains that a request from her grandfather pulled her away, catching a hooded figure completely off guard as rain begins to fall around them. Conversation resumes with a pointed question: does she remember the promise made about claiming the demon sword herself? Confidence answers back immediately, refusing to be underestimated, certain that victory is already within reach. Startled by a sudden closeness, she demands to know when he managed to sneak up on her again. He insists he's never done such a thing for anyone else before, admitting that his resolve has just solidified, declaring plainly that he intends to marry her. Explanation follows about what wielding the demon sword truly means. Becoming a symbol of strength requires a partner equally powerful standing alongside. Annoyed, she questions who exactly he thinks he's calling little lady, prompting a sly remark about how love, by nature, tends to be a selfish affair, leaving him to wonder aloud why everyone around him seems just as demanding. One final question lingers: whether power alone defines what she's after. Her answer settles the matter completely. It has to be him, and absolutely no one else. Tears well up as her declaration lands firmly, insisting that the strongest version of herself represents the only outcome worth pursuing. Her companion questions whether that stubborn conviction is truly all she has to offer. Confusion spreads among onlookers as they try to make sense of the scene unfolding. Alto states plainly that he has no interest in sparring against someone so young, clarifying instead that his goal is to completely win her over. A quiet voice wonders aloud whether simply being strong should be enough for someone like Rain. Flustered exclamations burst out as an unexpected proposal takes shape. She announces that everyone present must now decide who deserves to be considered her spouse in this contest of devotion, leaving the group stunned by the sudden turn of events. A formal battle for the title of official wife begins, framed as a competition where the contestant with the most convincing selling points claims victory. The rules stay simple: prove genuine affection, and whoever earns a perfect score wins outright. Objections rise immediately as one competitor declares she'll simply claim Alto as her own without playing along. Another scoffs at the entire premise, refusing to participate in something so trivial, while a third recoils at the thought of rating another person like a prize to be judged. Frustration boils over as accusations fly about indifference toward Alto despite everything the group has endured together. Amid the bickering, one voice cuts through with a bold announcement, proposing that from this point forward, they should focus on raising a large family together. A commanding presence intervenes, dismissing the chaos surrounding her as foolishness. She demands to know who granted permission for the others to take charge of the situation, her sharp tone immediately reasserting order over the group. Declaring this a contest exclusively for women, she orders the men to stand aside and watch in silence. Rain steps forward without hesitation, volunteering to go first as the group settles the initial matchup with a simple game of rock, paper, scissors. A tender moment follows as she asks whether he actually likes what she's offering, referencing something regarding her brother. Surprise flashes across faces nearby as the unexpected comment catches everyone off guard. Explanation comes quickly, revealing that the phrase originated from something her old crew used to say often. Bewildered reactions ripple through the group as Alto's name gets called out repeatedly, prompting a direct question about what score his response deserves, with someone jokingly suggesting a perfect 5. Safety becomes the subject of scrutiny as one competitor's offering gets dismissed as far too cautious, lacking any real risk. Undeterred, she accepts the outcome and moves forward, brushing off the visible disappointment radiating from those around her. Attention shifts toward Alt next, prompting a moment of genuine curiosity. Alto is asked directly whether he has any particular request or question he'd like to pose before the turn continues. A sudden shift in tone causes visible shock, as an unexpected gesture leaves Alto momentarily speechless. Stammering, he tries to address what's happening in front of him, clearly caught off guard by the boldness of the moment. Eager encouragement pushes him to speak honestly about what he's witnessing, though scolding voices immediately condemn the vulgarity of the situation. Someone chimes in insisting that for men, physical attraction naturally takes priority, leaving Alto struggling to understand why such things matter so much to everyone involved. Shock ripples through the group as a declaration of death interrupts the tension entirely. Panic sets in as Alto's name is shouted with alarm, though the quieter reaction beside him suggests something else is troubling her far more. Confusion lingers as a strange visual disturbance appears, prompting a desperate question about why the previous effort wasn't considered sufficient. The frustration in her voice makes clear that pride has been wounded by the unexpected rejection. A dramatic gesture interrupts everything as scores are announced. Questions arise immediately about whether the highest total should automatically determine the winner, only for someone to interject that scoring hasn't even concluded yet. Triumphant laughter follows as victory gets declared outright, claiming the entire contest as her own. Ominous energy crackles through the air as dark clouds gather unexpectedly around the pair. Tension replaces the earlier lightheartedness, hinting that something far more serious is about to interrupt the playful rivalry. Alarms blare through the vessel as reports of flooding spread from the lower deck. Word arrives that the ship has struck submerged reefs, sending crew members scrambling as urgent commands repeat over the intercom, demanding immediate action from everyone aboard. Panic sets in fully as the severity of the situation becomes clear. Someone shouts a name across the chaos, confirming that flooding has indeed begun, while the group braces themselves against the sudden emergency threatening to capsize their plans entirely. Orders ring out through the chaos as instructions get shouted to nearby crew members, urging some to block the incoming water with anything sturdy while others rush to gather reinforcements. Alto steps forward, declaring that he will take charge of controlling the water flow in the affected section, though he warns that stabilizing it will require time he may not have. Urgency floods her expression as she watches him strain against the rising tide. Wide eyes betray her fear before a desperate plea escapes her lips, calling out for help as the situation grows more dire by the second. Determination hardens across her face as she accepts the responsibility being placed on her. Water churns violently around them, yet her resolve holds steady despite the mounting pressure bearing down on the both of them. Whispers spread through the ranks, marveling at the sight of a carefree princess standing beside the world's strongest magician, both figures commanding attention through sheer presence alone. Doubt creeps into Alto's mind as he wonders whether anything he does truly matters compared to abilities like theirs, his gaze drifting toward the blade lodged nearby. Panic flashes as an apology tumbles out, someone realizing their leg has vanished entirely in the struggle. Concern immediately follows, checking whether the injured party remains conscious, while Rain's name gets called out amid the swirling wreckage threatening to consume them all. Exhaustion weighs heavily as the group races against the relentless current pressing in from every side. A quiet lament escapes under her breath, wishing desperately that magic could somehow solve what brute strength alone cannot overcome in this moment. A haunting question echoes through the wreckage, asking whether power is something truly desired. The mysterious force identifies itself only as silence, its presence pressing down with an eerie weight that unsettles everyone nearby. Confusion mounts as Alto urges everyone to stay focused despite the growing disturbance. Uruk's name gets called out in alarm, prompting frantic questions about who exactly is speaking and where this unseen presence might be hiding among them. Soft and deliberate, the offer repeats itself directly into her mind, promising to grant the power capable of stopping everything entirely, provided she truly desires it. Strain contorts his face as he admits he cannot continue any longer under the current burden. Beside him, confusion deepens as she questions whether the voice speaking directly into her thoughts can somehow bypass hearing entirely, unsettled by its intrusive nature. Desperation drives her to demand strength from wherever it might come, insisting that any source will suffice at this point. A sharp crack punctuates the moment as something shifts dramatically, Uruk's name repeated with rising concern from those watching helplessly nearby. Silence follows as a towering figure emerges amid the wreckage, sword raised high against the shattered remains of the structure surrounding them. Alto watches from below, dwarfed by the sheer scale of what now stands before him. Shock registers plainly as hands rise instinctively to cover her mouth, disbelief washing over her features at what she has just witnessed unfold. Nearby, a hooded figure watches the scene unfold with quiet intensity, saying nothing as the moment settles. Unexplained and sudden, a new power reveals itself without warning, its origin and true nature left completely shrouded in mystery as the wreckage settles into an uneasy stillness around them. Astonishment ripples through the crew as they process what they've just heard, one crewman blurting out that a girlfriend seems impossible to believe. Another insists it must be true, calling her Benjamin's actual girlfriend, while a third simply marvels at how amazing the revelation sounds. Nearby, someone else jokingly asks what that leaves for him, clearly hoping for similar attention. Exasperation follows immediately as concern shifts toward the possibility of more destruction aboard the ship, someone questioning whether another hole is about to get blown through the hull. The older crewmen mutter among themselves, one dismissing the whole idea as 100 years premature, another comparing the situation to steamed buns, and a third wondering aloud whether they're dealing with tiny elf children instead of grown warriors. Relief washes over her as she thanks Uruk directly, admitting freely that she has been saved once again by his timely intervention. Off to the side, surprise registers on watching faces as the exchange unfolds, the moment carrying more weight than simple words could capture. Wide-eyed realization dawns as she considers whether her enchantment skills could have reinforced the wall's strength, wondering if her laundry-related water applications might have handled the flooding differently. Confusion follows when someone questions why Alto himself couldn't have addressed the problem instead, the comment landing awkwardly amid her racing thoughts. Tears well up as she insists that regardless of what could have been done differently, one fact remains unchanged: Uruk saved her when it mattered most. Her voice carries quiet conviction, refusing to let doubt diminish the gratitude she genuinely feels toward him. Startled reactions ripple through the group as flooding reports arrive from yet another section of the ship. Alto steps forward, offering to handle the new crisis personally, prompting immediate acknowledgement as another voice confirms that he indeed saved her earlier, cementing his growing reputation among the crew. Quiet determination settles across her features as she admits wanting to help Alto in return, matching his earlier efforts with her own resolve. Nearby, someone notices his sudden absence, commenting on how motivated he seemed just moments before vanishing from sight. Reflection consumes his thoughts as he considers what might have triggered the recent chain of events, assuming she must feel genuine happiness knowing he managed to help someone in need. His expression stays guarded, betraying little of the deeper calculations running beneath the surface. Massive ice formations tower overhead, clearly extending far beyond anything conventional ice magic should produce. Someone urges the others to look closer, recognizing that whatever power created this belongs to something well outside ordinary understanding. Recognition dawns as attention fixes on the blade responsible for the display, identifying it plainly as the demon sword itself. The weapon radiates an unmistakable presence, confirming suspicions that have been building since the ice first appeared. Admiration mixes with unease as the sword's power draws further comment, one voice calling it truly amazing while another admits complete surprise at never having noticed its capabilities before now. The revelation forces both of them to reconsider what they thought they understood. Caution creeps into the conversation as someone asks directly whether the weapon poses genuine danger. The response suggests deeper complexity, raising questions about whether its true purpose involves concealing power entirely or actively suppressing it, with pointed curiosity directed toward how Meth came to possess such a blade in the first place. Responsibility weighs on their minds as they acknowledge functioning essentially as caretakers for someone who needs watching. Reassurance follows that stability shouldn't be an issue so long as the person in question remains mentally sound, though separate concern surfaces about whether Raymond and Frey were ever aware of Ulta's true capabilities, and frustration grows over why such power would be deliberately hidden from them. Ancient legend surfaces as explanation, describing magic blade wielders who trade power in exchange for walking further down a darker path. Someone reasons that she likely wouldn't have handed something so dangerous over to Ulta without careful consideration first, suggesting deeper trust or hidden motives behind the exchange. Questions of truth linger as the group studies the sword more closely, wondering aloud what these magic blades actually represent and how much remains unknown about their true nature and origin. Rhythmic creaking draws attention back to practical matters as barrels shift nearby. Confirmation arrives that the final threat has been sealed away with ice, prompting immediate questions about what comes next in their ongoing efforts to secure the ship. Curious sounds continue echoing through the hold as someone notices something unusual happening near the barrels. Acceptance settles over the moment as she concludes this must simply be how things are meant to unfold, watching the strange rattling continue without further explanation. Bewilderment spreads as witnesses insist a barrel appeared to move entirely on its own. Panic follows quickly, questioning whether other barrels have shifted as well, while further confusion arises over whether one was even present in that location to begin with. Superstition takes hold as speculation turns toward ghostly explanations, someone wondering if a phantom caused the entire accident from the start. Rumors resurface about the ship being haunted specifically by barrels, though the claim gets dismissed immediately as ridiculous nonsense unworthy of serious consideration. Quiet uncertainty lingers on his face as he watches the scene unfold nearby, caught between the wooden barrels and braided hair just out of frame, his expression suggesting unspoken thoughts about everything that has just transpired around him. Morning light settled over the dining hall as Uruk sat quietly, her pale eyes fixed and thoughtful. Across from her, Alto burst into a wide grin, clearly amused by something playful unfolding on the table between them. Below, tiny creatures scurried across patterned wallpaper while Alto let out an excited shout, breaking the calm atmosphere with sudden energy. Chaos erupted without warning. A figure was sent flying through driving rain, tumbling end over end before crashing toward open water. Amid the storm, a voice cried out an apology, followed by a sharp yelp of pain as the impact landed hard against the deck, leaving no doubt that someone had badly miscalculated their timing. Onlookers gathered near a grand ship, murmuring about ghostly rumors and a mysterious figure resembling someone's brother. Confusion spread as a woman was questioned about her strange behavior, while another voice praised Uruk for successfully sealing away the spirits that had been causing trouble, hinting at a battle fought and won just moments before. Elsewhere, a light-hearted exchange unfolded about someone named Lane, who had wandered off in search of sweets, leaving her companions to comment on her newfound freedom. Nearby, a man mentioned finishing removing a splinter, casually questioning where Alto had gone, while a woman's laughter cut through the tension with forced brightness. Uruk stood firm, her expression calm despite recent hardship. She acknowledged the many obstacles they had overcome, her fists clenched with quiet determination. Beside her, a companion realized with sudden delight that he was now alone with Alto, savoring the rare moment of privacy amid the surrounding turmoil. A bright flash of light accompanied a request for help, Alto's voice carrying across the scene with unexpected urgency. Startled reactions followed as someone questioned why a person named Frey was emerging from the sea itself, while another voice cheerfully announced that her brother had arrived as well, insisting they repeat whatever feat had just been performed. A boat cut through the water, carrying a lone figure standing at its bow. Moments later, a boisterous man appeared, splashing water from a barrel while declaring his affection loudly, calling out to his beloved sibling with theatrical enthusiasm, his exaggerated gestures drawing wary, unimpressed stares from those around him. Silence followed his outburst, broken only by murmurs questioning how Kingdom Knights had managed to slip past restrictions meant to keep them away. Someone quietly admitted to trespassing, while another voice demanded an explanation for his presence aboard the vessel, suspicion evident in the tense exchange between the group. A blade was drawn as tempers flared, with Uruk sharply questioning what would happen if their mission failed because of her brother's reckless interference. He clung to her, insisting his concern came purely from worry, reminding her of his role as her elder sibling, even as she pushed him firmly away. Standing behind him, Alto watched the confrontation unfold as another voice pointed out that the man had claimed to be at his limit not long before. The remark hung heavy in the air, exposing the contradiction between his earlier excuse and his sudden appearance, leaving the group visibly unconvinced by his explanation. A quieter, more intimate moment followed as Alto's expression shifted, hinting at hidden knowledge. A voice mentioned the possibility of concealing a long-held secret belonging to the Isfeel family, the weight of the statement settling heavily as tension crackled between the two figures locked in close, charged proximity. Attention turned to the origins of that secret, as it was revealed that the Isfeel family had long governed ice magic, passed down through generations. Someone noted how strange it seemed that Uruk alone had been unable to wield such power, prompting her to wonder aloud whether this mysterious secret was somehow tied directly to her own bloodline. Reflecting further, it became clear that the Isfeel family held noble status as marquises, their ties to magic deeply rooted in tradition. One figure described Uruk as a strong woman capable of confronting her own truth, while another admitted having spoken with his grandfather about teaching her, though fear of frightening her had held him back. Doubt crept in as a companion wondered whether his caution had been unnecessary after all. Turning his attention to Alto, he confessed feeling a quiet envy toward the distance that remained between them, his tone shifting from lightness to vulnerability as he admitted his honest feelings, prompting Uruk to address him simply as brother. Their conversation drifted toward memories shared with an older relative, as one voice wondered aloud if the moment reminded them of their grandfather. Despite the sentimental thought, he admitted he had never actually spoken about it directly, gesturing outward as if reaching towards something just beyond his grasp, leaving the topic unresolved. A radiant light illuminated an outstretched hand, drawing attention to the reason behind an old man's earlier actions. It was explained that he had personally guided them aboard, his hands carefully wrapped around something significant, though a lingering doubt remained about whether there had truly been enough time to prepare properly. Laughter echoed as an elderly figure admitted that only a direct request could bring forth such power. Alto stated plainly that he had once made that very request himself. Surprise followed as others questioned whether it was truly unusual for a king to personally involve himself with something as modest as a guild, wondering if she had intended to visit the ship in person. Seated with an air of quiet authority, Alto prepared to reveal everything he knew. He spoke of the Isfeel family's long-guarded secret, tying it directly to a magic sword connected to the guiding god's spirit blade, his calm demeanor suggesting the depth of the truth he was about to share. With sharpened focus, his expression hardened as he stated the reason behind his arrival. The declaration carried finality, signaling that every event leading up to this moment had been building toward this single purpose, closing the recap on a note of quiet resolve and unfinished tension yet to unfold.